too. Keep cool this summer and protect the interior from fading and cracking with a custom window tint from SoundStation and Security. The sun's harmful UV rays can also hurt your paint on the exterior. That's why SoundStation and Security offers custom ceramic coating. Think of it as a little sunscreen with SoundStation and Security. 2 locations in downtown Smithfield and on Glenwood Avenue in Raleigh. Online at myhotsound.com.
Is foot pain keeping you from living the life you love? Hi, it's Jonathan Cotton with the Good Feet Store, and life is too short to be living with foot, knee, or back pain. When all 4 arches in your feet are supported, the results can be amazing. Go to goodfeet.com to make your appointment today.
Veterans, did you know VA mortgage rates have plummeted and you can now access up to 100% of your home's equity and turn that into cash right now? Hey, it's Roger Moore, President and CEO of Loan Pronto, announcing our VA Equity Advantage program. This VA offer can get you $50,000, $70,000, $100,000 cash out with no junk fees and no hassle, with APRs in the 5s. You can pay off all those credit cards, personal loans, car loans, and get one easy-to-manage payment. Veterans we help save on average $850 per month. And listen, if you're a veteran with a current mortgage rate over 6.25%, we can do a streamlined refinance with no income verification and no appraisal, saving you hundreds a month. At Loan Pronto, we respect what you've done for our country, and we show it. Call now and ask about our special VA Equity Advantage program. 919-381-1760. 919-381-1760. LoanPronto.com. 919-381-1760.
Equal housing lender. NMLS 166-1781. Subject to lender approval. NMLS ConsumerAccess.org.
This hour of buzzer-beating, nail-biting, edge-of-your-seat sports action on 99.9 The Fan is powered by
Ritchie Law Firm Injury Lawyers.
Visit GotBryan.com.
That's GotBryan.com. WCMC-FM HD1 Holly Springs.
Here's my problem with 3-on-3 basketball. Again, and I've probably spent too much time thinking about this. If the game is supposed to represent outdoor basketball, I have problems.
Yes.
Chain nets. We need chains on the nets.
Right, I was going to say, number one.
I grew up playing on the playground.
Me too.
We didn't grow up playing basketball indoors. I grew up playing outside. Chains on the net. Has anybody watched White Men Can't Jump?
Right.
That's what I'm thinking about when I'm seeing outdoor basketball.
Yes.
Right? Outdoors. Chain nets. Let's do it.
You're listening to The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Paul Ihander today in for Adam Gold. Thanks for making us a part of your Monday, hanging out with us. As always, Adam is off today. Victoria also off today, so sitting in on the ones and twos for the Adam Gold Show on the other side of the glass is Graham Hill.
It's the Next Up Takeover on the Adam Gold Show this afternoon. Hello, folks.
For those of you who listen to us in the Raleigh area on 99.9 The Fan, you heard us about 3 hours ago doing the sports radio content thing. We were back in the saddles once again from 12 o'clock to 3 o'clock today, sitting in for Adam and Victoria. Both will be off for a couple of days here. Adam will be back on Wednesday, I believe. So if you need his dulcet tones, that's where he will be. You can also check him out. I'm sure he's posting on X somewhere about something Olympic-wise, a gold fan. But you have me today, and hopefully you enjoy the ride. Stick around for the ride. It'll be a great day. It's a Monday for many of you, and for some of you, it might be the first start of your weekend. But I suppose, speaking of getting things started, let's get it started now. We jump into it with the Gold Rush by Team USA, in which more medals were won. So much medals that I believe Team USA could build itself a smaller version of the Eiffel Tower based on how many bits of the Eiffel Tower that had been buried in each one of these gold, silver, and bronze medals. But we now have all-time greats when it comes to medal winning in Team USA. Simone Biles, which I'm sure you've heard of that gymnast name, ended up winning another silver today. Katie Ledecky over the weekend decided that she would win more swimming medals. Katie Ledecky, who says she would be much more comfortable training right now as opposed to sitting around and waiting for the next Olympic Games, of which she plans to compete in Los Angeles in 2028. And for her, that is true competition. That is fantastic. As Team USA kind of licks its wounds from not doing so well in the men's 3-on-3, the women's 3-on-3 will get some gold medals, or at least try for some gold medals. But we also want to talk about, when it comes to the Olympic Games and individual events, the magic that is Scotty Scheffler.
The great Scott.
Scotty Scheffler over the weekend decided that he would card an amazing round at Le Golf National, the national golf course in France, which was set up for low scores, and it truly was, in which Scotty Scheffler, coming from behind, decided to close his final 9 holes of the tournament, and this was a tournament for Scotty Scheffler, his final 9 holes at 29. He carded a 29. I can't imagine what that's like. There are miniature golf courses across this great United States, of which I'm a miniature golf aficionado, played in Montana about a month ago at a miniature golf course, in which I could not and did not shoot a 29 in 9 holes on miniature golf. There was just too much water, too many pirates, too many sand traps and trees and windmills and things to knock into to land a 29. But Scotty Scheffler, in winning a gold medal for the United States, erased any sort of doubt on who represented the U.S. at the Olympic Games in Paris, France. That there are no more questions about if, say, Bryce and DeChambeau should have played, if some other American should have been granted the right to play in that tournament, and the selection process was flawed. It clearly was not, in which the national anthem of these United States of America was played in France with Scotty Scheffler having himself a very emotional moment. The man who has won seven championships this year alone and holds more than 30 marks right now at the top of the PGA Tour statistical boards.
I mean, has anyone else in golf this year had a more interesting year than Scotty Scheffler, between, as you just mentioned, the 7 major wins he had, the Masters win, then getting arrested, and now win a gold medal for the Olympics? I mean, Scotty, have a year, Scotty Scheffler.
He has been having quite the year, and he's a new father.
That too.
So to put the cherry on top of that cupcake, Scotty Scheffler has had quite the 2024. And who knows if he's able to run it back in 2028. Now, the question is, in Team USA, again, when it comes to regular golf, the prize is shared with the tournament winner and the caddy. Yep. Normally, there's something that's peeled off. Did the caddies also get a gold medal? Because Scotty Scheffler actually credited his caddy for helping him read the greens, because day one he said, I can't read the greens.
That's a very fair point.
He flat out said, I cannot read the greens here. I believe he was 2 over like the first 9 holes. He just couldn't get it together. His caddy was a caddy who had caddy during the Ryder Cup at that same course, I believe 4 or 6 years ago, in which he credits him completely for getting that gold medal. So do you think the caddy should also get a gold medal? I mean, coaches get gold medals, right? When it comes to team sports, they also get a gold medal. But does a caddy, this is only the second time in the Olympics they've actually had a golf competition.
Well, by the way you describe, what is it? Let me get my best Lumiere impersonation here. Le Golf National. The way you described that golf course, it basically turned into, what was it, the waste management course? How it was just uncharted territory for a lot of those golfers.
It was off the chain. They were chanting, they were singing at all the golfers. It was near Happy Gilmore-esque. I mean, it was a celebration of sport, sportif, as they would say. And they're trying to expand golf's presence at the Olympic Games in 2028 in Los Angeles by having mixed team events. They would do like a scramble almost, which would be kind of cool, like professionals playing scramble golf. I think that would be pretty interesting. So the gold rush has gotten underway. Team USA continues. There is still another full week of Olympic Games. Like, there are 6 more days of Olympics, but it is all coming away from the swimming venues, clearly, outside of diving and synchronized swimming. It is now moving on to the track and moving on to team medal events when it comes to field hockey, soccer, and, of course, basketball, in which Team USA right now, the men and the women, are kicking booty. That's the best way to call it. All right, let's move on to the Panthers, shall we? The Panthers, Carolina Panthers, have 72 hours to see if expectations and reality are truly in alignment. They've had practice today already. They will practice one more time tomorrow, get out ahead of the storm, so to speak. It just so happens they're playing on the road, so it will not be a deluge in Charlotte. They'll be playing in Boston against New England, which could mean the debut of Drake May. For those of you Carolina fans, you'll get a chance to check in on Drake May, see how he's doing under a brand new head coach and a new system. But really, it's about the Carolina Panthers, and to see if the expectations that the fan base has, that we all have when we talk about the Panthers, truly line up with the reality of what Dave Canales has been trying to do there. Now, he already spoke today ahead of practice. He says tomorrow night they will decide who will play on Thursday. There might be a chance that Bryce Young takes a few snaps under center. There might be some starting action, but they may not play a lot. He's worried about chemistry and player safety. A lot of that has to do with the fact that they're very thin at outside linebacker, which apparently is a need position for him and has been flagged by many analysts for the Carolina Panthers as a place that they need to figure something out, because Jadeveon Clowney, while he settles in on the left-hand side, the right-hand side is the giant question mark that is spray painted in red. There is no doubt about that. And the Panthers had to sign a new quarterback. Remember, you heard Andy Dalton had a quad injury, suffered earlier in the week. So they went out and signed Jake Luton. Jake Luton, formerly of the Oregon State University Beavers.
That guy.
I don't know what it is about Oregon State and quarterbacks with Carolina, but apparently the Derek Anderson did pretty well. So Jake Luton is back, who was on the active roster for one game last season, backed up Andy Dalton, and was drafted by Jacksonville back in 2020.
Well, as someone who watches a lot of Oregon Ducks football, since you are a proud Ducks alum, can you tell us anything about this? Nope.
He went to Oregon State.
That's all you know.
It's
no action in the Civil War rivalry? Nothing?
Not that I can remember.
All right, fair enough.
Not that I can remember about Jake Luton.
So basically, I could have gotten signed to play for the Carolina Panthers if need be in the first preseason game.
It's not even his offense. They signed him today because, again,
they just need bodies.
We just talked about we just talked about outside linebacker, right? They're still looking for guys. Kimoko Toure went on the reserved injured list so they could bring on a quarterback. Jake doesn't know the playbook. He'll get studied up real quick, and he knows some of the personnel at least. And I'm sure Andy Dalton could fill him in on a few things. But this is about making sure that Jack Plummer doesn't have to throw every ball in that game on Thursday night. They've already seen what they can get out of him. He's not the priority. It's for him to get reps. But if Jack Plummer's getting all your 1 reps right now, or getting a lot more 1 reps, and he's going to be throwing to the 1s and 2s, that's going to say a lot more about where they feel they need to protect Bryce Young, because they're not sure what's going to happen to Andy Dalton.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it. But Canales said it was a bounce-back day after practice yesterday. And here's what Dave Canales talked about when he spoke to the media on Sunday about what he wants to see in that first preseason game on Thursday in New England.
Canales has gone quiet.
He'll speak. I promise you.
Now he's ready to speak.
Okay.
Great effort. Great enthusiasm. I hope the guys that are all cheering each other on, even especially when they're not on. Great toughness. I want to see big hits. I want to see physical blocks. I want to see the running backs finish it with aggression and the tight ends. I want to see great, smart plays in situations, making great decisions in third down situations, end of half 2 minutes, end of game 2 minutes, those types of things. And above all, I want to see us finish the fourth quarter like we started the game, with that intensity, with all those things. That's what I'm looking for. So it's kind of the formula for what we're trying to do here, and I want to see it come to life in a game setting.
Paul Ihander in here for Adam Gold. So that being said, for Dave Canales, will the expectations meet the reality of what he is hoping for? Because in the preseason, it can be a challenge. There's no doubt about it. It's a small body of work for what they're trying to implement. And you can see with Canales how he's trying to get his team really dialed in a little bit. Dave is still coming with the energy. He's still coming with that forward positive momentum, but you're hearing a lot more of the coaching out of him, which is positive for Dave Canales. You're hearing a lot more of the things that we need to work on, that they need to get dialed in on and execute better. For them to go hard for all 60 minutes of that game on Thursday night against the New England Patriots, with as many players that have to get shuttled in and shuttled out, because this is the only time they really get to evaluate guys. It's easy to see them in practice. You all know this. But when it comes to game time reality, that's where you're really going to check in on the guys who are going to make an impact and the positions that you're really comfortable with adding. Because you're not talking about determining whether or not Robert Hunt should start at guard. You're not determining whether Jadeveon Clowney should start at outside linebacker. You're trying to figure out who those guys' backups might be, or who can play a role also on special teams in this new kickoff world that we live in. Those are the kinds of decisions that have to be made. So if he's talking about intensity from fourth quarter to fourth quarter, absolutely. But I would say control the mistakes and play within yourselves and just accept what you can accept about this team in a game one. Because the expectations of the fan base, like we're going to truck it down the field and run it down their throats. Granted, that is a fair, optimistic view. But to ground yourself in reality a little bit, how about we just don't make any mistakes and come out healthy?
Clean football, protect the football, defense get off the field in third and manageable situations, and really just go out there. And for a lot of guys, as you mentioned, it's their last chance to kind of prove themselves before cuts are made so then they can get a roster spot for this upcoming season. But, yeah, don't overthink it. It's preseason football. It feels like he's asking to do a complete 180 of what we saw in a lot of regular season games last year for the Panthers, but I'm just fine. I'm glad that we're not getting the whole Frank Reich approach of we're not going to reveal too much of what we're doing. So I'll take that from Dave Canales and his football TED Talks.
Yeah, I'm not big about simplicity. Show me what you got. Show me a little bit of what you got. Now, Dave Canales was asked a very, very solid question and gave a very, very Canales-esque response, which I respect. Do not get me wrong. This is what I would consider 99.9% of what I think you would want to hear from a football coach when he was asked about during practices what's holding back throws from the quarterbacks deep chances.
Yeah, I think it's number one, our scheme defensively is fantastic, so it's really hard. This scheme right here really maximizes the disguise. They do so many good things that make it hard for you to kind of know when you're going to be able to get that shot down the field. And so it's just a matter of, for our quarterbacks, especially studying our guys, to say, this is a look when this shot would be good, And I think, generally speaking, as far as training camps go, like our deep ball production kind of increases the further into camp we get. And it really does show up more in games. When you're out here in a practice setting, a lot of the times the defense and secondary play a little bit more conservative. In games, they're more liable to take a shot on a guy or try to cover something where you can set up some of those shots. But and it's definitely something we just have to, bottom line, just improve on and get opportunities on. So I'd love to see more production down the field, yes, but it's been really difficult against our defense right now.
Exactly, I believe, what you would want to hear from a head coach. Our defense is really great, so it's tough for us to make it happen. We work in smaller situations in terms of practice and on the field. So guys are playing more conservative. They're trying to make each other look good. And then when it comes to game situations, I want to see more of it. I demand more shots. You go out and sign Deontay Johnson for a reason. You draft Zay Leggett for a reason. And by the way, Zay Leggett, who got hurt on Sunday, he has no fractures in his foot. He is not going to play, at least not expected to play on Thursday. But the response that Dave Canales gave to that question was nearly ideal. He understands the game at this point. He's not speaking in generalities. He's speaking in things that he considers that are truth and stuff that he sees on the field right away. And that you have to respect. It is a far cry from when you just see coaches just going out there and just rallying the guys going, yeah, we got some stuff we need to improve on, and yeah, we probably need to throw the ball a little bit more. That felt like someone who analyzed the game as an offensive coordinator, and maybe as he grows as a head coach, it might get a little bit more general, but there's no doubt that you probably just learned something in the last 60 seconds.
Well, it sounds like somebody that coached under Pete Carroll for a long time with the Seattle Seahawks and got to see that offense kind of implemented with Russell Wilson as a quarterback, DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, some of those guys, Rashad Penny as well as at running back. And it just lets me know that when Dave Canales says he wants the Panthers' identity this year to be through the run game, it lets me know that, on their side of the 50, when they're trekking upfield, it's going to be a lot of handoffs. It's going to be a lot of jet sweeps. And then once you get in positive yardage, if it's second and manageable, I want to see a shot taken downfield to Deontay Johnson, to Xavier Leggett, to Adam Thielen, since he can kind of sneak around the field a little bit. It just lets me know that we're going to see some high-flying action at Bank of America Stadium this season, hopefully, if the run game can allow itself to open up.
Boy, the one thing about a run game opening up a deep ball, and that they all go hand in hand, right? There's no doubt about it. That goes hand in hand. Wouldn't it be great to see on a stat sheet an 82-yard touchdown throw or a 58-yard touchdown run? That would be the sweetest. All right, let's talk about a former Carolina Panther. Pro Football Hall of Fame induction over the weekend. Some of you probably missed it. Hey, listen, life gets in the way, right? You got to mow the lawn. You got to take the kids somewhere. Maybe you got some things to do, or maybe you were just flat out working. But the newest members of the Pro Football Hall of Fame, Dwight Freeney, Randy Gradishar, Devin Hester, Andre Johnson, Patrick Willis, Steve McMichael, and Bailey, North Carolina's own Julius Peppers.
252.
Julius Peppers, inducted in the Professional Football Hall of Fame in his first year of eligibility. Defensive Rookie of the Year, you know the stat lines, you know where it all is. And he talked about, during his 16-minute speech, we'll give you just a little bit of it here, Julius Peppers talked about what being a Hall of Famer means to him.
It's not about how many touchdowns you scored or how many Super Bowl rings you have, even though those things are nice. It really comes down to who you are at your core and what's in your heart. Are you resilient? Do you stand tall in the face of adversity when things get tough, or do you quit? Do you acknowledge other people's contributions to your success, or do you make it all about you?
Julius Peppers, unanimous All-American, two-sport player at the University of North Carolina. One of the legends, right? One of the legends. And always when it comes to the Professional Football Hall of Fame in Canton, Ohio, and the induction ceremony and the gold jacket or whatnot, it's always talking about family, and thanked his family for coming from North Carolina.
I want to thank my family for coming up from North Carolina and a lot of other places and being here for this special night. They over there. You know, the old proverb that it takes a village to raise a child, that's especially true with us. My mother was one of 9 kids, and my father was one of 11. So we have a large village. And a lot of them are here tonight, so thank y'all for being here again.
And that village is a lot of you in Eastern North Carolina, right? Not necessarily the ones who sat next to him, you know, at the dinner table, but also the ones that attended all those games, that saw Julius Peppers grow up right in front of you. And this wasn't that long ago, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, theys and thems. This was 3 decades ago. He's 44 years old, which means you were watching a Pro Football Hall of Famer. If you were lucky enough to have tickets or lucky enough to witness it or have the day off from work or wherever it was, and you rolled on over to Southern Nash, whoever was playing Southern Nash at the time, and you saw this 6'5", soon to be 6'7" phenomenon hit the court and go to the field and make plays and do big things. You were witness to that. It had to have been something special. I wish I could have been there with you.
I mean, when you think of Julius Peppers and everything that he accomplished at the University of North Carolina, both playing on the football field and on the court alongside Michael Jordan, but then when you look at his NFL career and look at his stats and see how many games he started and how he put the Carolina Panthers on the map, and then everything he did with the Chicago Bears, was there any other obvious answer on who should be in the Hall of Fame this year for the NFL? I don't think so, but maybe that's my Eastern North Carolina bias coming out for a fellow 252 member, but
that's a good thing. This is the kind of honor that comes along with being that the man that he is on the field, the man that he is in the community. Of course, when it comes to the Hall of Fame, you can't go to the Hall of Fame without thanking Mom.
Speaking of my mom, her name is Bessie Brinkley. Since the day I was born, she's been in my corner, not just for sports, but in life. My siblings and I, we didn't really grow up with a lot, but whatever we needed, she made sure we got it. And even though we didn't say the words a lot, I knew that you loved me. Sometimes all you need is a mother's love and support, and I'm very fortunate to have a mom that gave me that and so much more. She instilled a great work ethic and discipline in me, and also a willingness to sacrifice to help others. Today, I officially become a member of the Pro Football Hall of Fame, but she's always been one of the greatest of all time at being a mom. So, Mom, thank you for everything, and I love you.
Thank Mom. Thank Mom. If you have a mom, mother figure in your life, that's how you do it. Say thank you, say I love you on the biggest stage possible, no matter where it is, and don't be ashamed of it. And he definitely isn't ashamed of it. One more thing here from that speech. When we think about North Carolina and we think about the Mount Rushmore, right? This is the old sports radio play when it comes to who are the greatest of all time in the certain places, whether it's geography, whether it's at the alma mater that you were at, whether it's the team that you root for the most. Usually it's always about who are the greatest when it comes to the faces. And when you think about North Carolina, and I'm not just thinking about Chapel Hill, right? Not just the Tar Heels. But when you think about North Carolina, there are names that are synonymous with this state, with this Hall of Fame induction for now, and certainly because of his hometown roots and that he is from the great state of North Carolina, that he finds himself in that company. But also deferred to another one of those faces we always consider a face of North Carolina, and that's his airness.
This ain't in my speech, but I'm going to say it anyway. While I'm talking about Chapel Hill and North Carolina, and I know this is the Pro Football Hall of Fame, I ain't gonna sit up here and act like my idol and one of the reasons that I went to Chapel Hill is not in the building. The GOAT, his airness, Michael Jordan. MJ, I want to thank you for the inspiration and the memories. Love you, big bro.
Right, another North Carolina face, like true North Carolina face.
I mean, really, that's just Carolina family recognizing Carolina family. I know it's cliche, but you get it a lot with the brotherhood, but it's the same thing over in Chapel Hill, whether Duke fans like to admit it or not.
Julius Peppers, Pro Football Hall of Fame. Again, those are the highlights from over the weekend. I know, again, just want to get you caught up on that because I think it's very rare that these occasions occur. There are very rare moments where you get to witness yourself or witness greatness, and also after witnessing greatness, you get to see them honored in some of the largest ways possible. It is the equivalent almost to like a knighthood, to be honest, for athletes. You really don't have any more. There are no other hills to climb outside of maybe getting a statue in your hometown or whatnot, but this is immortalized. This is what you will always carry with you. You get a jacket, too. So there's that. All right. Coming up next here on the Adam Gold Show, Paul Ihander filling in for Adam today. Graham Hill also filling in for Victoria today. We're going to have a good time getting you caught up on your sports world. And coming up next, the idea of second chances takes a different twist when it comes to the Olympics. We'll talk about that coming up next. It's the Adam Gold Show.
Serving it up hot and fresh every day. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Hey, Carolina Panthers fans, it's Dennis Cox from 99.9 The Fan. For all the inside information on your team, join me and my co-host, WRAL TV's Chris Lee, for our podcast, Panthers Playbook, presented by Carolina Ford Dealers. In every episode, we'll keep you up to date on your Panthers, and we'll do it with access only we can provide. Locker room insight, exclusive interviews, and in-depth looks at every Panthers game. Follow and subscribe to Panthers Playbook wherever you discover your favorite podcasts or watch on YouTube.
What's the best place to bet the games this summer? Oh, I know the answer to that. This is Adam Gold, and it is FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. Why? Right now, new customers can get $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. Pick a cakewalk, win it, get $150 in bonus bets. Hey, just stay with USA Basketball. Then you can bet on all your favorite international teams and all your favorite sports. Hoops to badminton, soccer to swimming. FanDuel's got it all. Don't miss your chance to score $150 in bonus bets if your first bet wins. Visit FanDuel.com/AdamGold to sign up and start betting the games today. Make every moment more with FanDuel. Do it now. 21 or over and present in North Carolina. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonuses issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See full terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
Navy Federal Credit Union is back with more eligibility. Now you can hear all your favorites like, my brother's a veteran, I get amazing rates. My mom served, I get 24/7 member support. Grandpa was a soldier and now I'm a member. And who could forget? Thanks to my father who served in the military, I'm now eligible for incredible member benefits. Call 1-855-800-2102 or visit NavyFederal.org today. Navy Federal Credit Union. Our members are the mission. Navy Federal is insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Lender.
Capital Broadcasting Company and NC Beautiful award thousands of azaleas to nonprofit organizations throughout the state. If your organization would like free azaleas, visit us online at wral-gardens.com. Go to the Azalea Celebration tab and fill out an application form by August 31st. Let's keep our state looking clean and beautiful.
Let me talk to those of you who are contact lens wearers. Are you tired of wasting time and money every day, putting them in, taking them out, cleaning, ordering new ones, glasses, prescription sunglasses? I could go on and on. Dr. Lori Travers and Travers LASIK are your answers to my question. In just 5 minutes per eye, Dr. Lori can put you on the path to 20/20 vision. Plus, it's totally painless. You can go back to work the next day. And 2 years, 0-interest financing is available. And we're throwing in $1,000 off. Now the hard part. You actually have to pick up the phone. 919-510-6830. Make the call now. The consultation is free. You could go online, traverslasik.com, but you can call 919-510-6830, 919-510-6830. Go to 20/20 vision in less than 10 minutes. Dr. Lori Travers, Travers LASIK. See what you've been missing.
Now is the perfect time to start on your next success. When you apply to University of Maryland Global Campus by August 29th, you'll pay no application fee. An accredited state university, UMGC offers online and hybrid courses. Plus, you can earn up to 90 credits toward a bachelor's for prior learning and work experience, or transfer up to 12 credits toward a master's. Get your app fee waived through August 29th. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
This is Adam Gold.
Thank you very much for your time, man. We will talk again.
Adam, anytime for you, my friend.
Thank you. I don't know why it makes me laugh. Why does that make me laugh?
I don't know. Maybe you just are used to people being mean to you or something, like Twitter. I don't know.
The Adam Gold Show.
Paul Ihander in for Adam Gold today on this Monday. Thanks for making us a part of your day as you cruise around, or maybe you're working from the home cubicle, or maybe you're working at the cubicle farm, wherever you are. Thanks for hanging out with us today. Graham Hill is here in for Victoria today as well.
Hey, Mom.
By the way, Jake Luton, who was signed by the Carolina Panthers today, new quarterback added to the roster. Of course, they're dealing with injuries to back up Andy Dalton. He's got a quad thing, so they need some live arms. They could use some live arms as they get ready for the game on Thursday in New England. They're going to have practice this afternoon, practice tomorrow, and then fly out ahead of Hurricane Debbie, which apparently is going to wreak a little havoc on the Atlantic coastline. So for those of you who had plans or living down there, streaming us or listening, take it easy. We're thinking of you right now. But Jake Luton, by the way, has a Cameo account.
Interesting. So that's what we know about him.
So what we know about Jake Luton is when he played for the Seattle Seahawks.
Okay.
So Dave Canales and Brad Idzik know Jake Luton.
So there's a method to the madness.
There is indeed. Jake Luton has a Cameo account. Now, unfortunately, it's not active, but he's got really good reviews, like solid reviews. He has 8 5-star reviews on Cameo. Apparently, you could get a birthday anniversary message from Jake for $49.
Well, you know what we need? We need a Cameo for him promoting 999 The Fan.
We could make that happen.
Can we make that happen?
Former Oregon State quarterback, former Jacksonville Jaguars quarterback, former Seattle Seahawks quarterback. The reviews are very good. They're anonymous. These are anonymous reviews, clearly. But one said, "A great Christmas present for my friend. Jake killed it."
I just want to know who's out there saying, "Oh, we should get Jake Gilt to do a Cameo for Christmas."
Here's another review. "Thanks so much, Jake. My son will absolutely love this. Perfect video. Go Jags." He has 5-star reviews. And then he delivered every time. Like, awesome, Jake. Thanks. We appreciate it. He's going to love it. Christmas gifts. Apparently, this was a Christmas gift. Him saying Merry Christmas. Apparently, you could also text him for, you could get into a text conversation with him for $1.99.
Interesting.
So, Cameo available. Backup quarterback, Carolina Panthers. Who knows? He could be starting on Thursday night.
Well, now I know I can get my mom for her birthday gift. A cameo video from Jay.
She would just love to see you, I think, in person. I think that would be, you wouldn't need a celebrity or whatnot. You want me to come over? We'll come over.
Maybe if I had the NFL salary of a backup quarterback, then yeah, she'd really love to see me walk through the front door.
If you could charge $50 for a cameo message, I suppose. You
There
can
you
do
go.
that too. The Olympics underway, clearly 16 days of games. This is week number 2. And the one thing that has been different from this year than last year when it comes to the track competition, and it has changed the way I believe Olympians operate, whether it's teams, but mostly at the individual level. And hear me out here. So I wake up this morning because I don't sleep real well, and I turn on, which thankfully enough, the Olympic Games are on. I went through this with my firstborn child, too. He was born just after midnight in his January birthday. And so the only thing on at the time was Australian Open tennis. So I watched tennis, for the entire Australian Open tennis runs. It was the perfect time. I was so thankful. This was 10 years ago. Love my son. He's a great dude. I get up this morning, watch the Olympic Games. The Olympic Games have a bunch of heats going on when it comes to the 400 meters. 400-meter men, 400-meter women. On the women's side, and this is the first time I noticed it because I was able to dial in a little bit because, again, I couldn't sleep. And I'm watching this, and I noticed there were a bunch of did not starts, DNS. And some of the fields in what is known as this repechage. Repechage is essentially a second chance race. If you don't finish in the top 2 or 3, depending on what race you're in, you move into the second chance races. They changed it. The Olympic Games used to be about beating a certain time. If you beat that time, you advanced. Now they're only advancing the top 3. So they advance the top 3. Everyone else slides into the repechage rounds in which one advances, and that is it. So it's basically double elimination at this point. Well, in the repechage, as you're running, and the shorter distance events, the 200 and the 400, some of the athletes did not start. And it flew in the face of, well, what are we exactly working for as an individual who woke up as a 7-year-old or a 17-year-old or whatever it was and started running up bleachers or started running with a tire around our waist in the goal of being an individual who makes the Olympics. You get assigned to teams later on. When you run relays, you get assigned because you're a good runner, right? But it all starts at the individual level. But in these repechage races, the second chance races, there were some who opted not to even start at all, where there should have been 8 on the track, only 5 took to the track. So 1 gets to advance. What I later found out, or what I found out just in the course of watching this, is that teams that were involved in relay races in these same distances, so the 4x400 races, or the 4x200, 4x100, whatever it was, those athletes were going to participate in those relays as opposed to go after their own individual medals, or at least to have a shot at the medals. And I was wondering if that was a conscious choice by them, or if it was an ordered choice by a coach or a national team, like conglomerate, board of directors or whatever it was, thinking that you don't have a shot in the 400 meters. But if you ran on our relay team, we might have a better chance as a team to move forward because you hadn't run that extra track. You hadn't been on the extra track time. Now, track purists will say, and I've heard this argument in doing the research online and looking at it, track purists will say, hey, the more track, the better. Like, let's run as many races as we possibly can. Let's have another 400. Let's have another 800. Let's have another 1,500, right? Let's have all the second and third chances we possibly can have. But for an individual Olympian, it doesn't feel right to me. And as you start thinking about it, I'm not sure it should feel right to anybody, because when you train as an individual in certain sports, now I'm not talking about football. I mean, football comes with hero accolades, but ultimately it's the team that wins and the team that loses. When it comes to Olympic sports, especially in track, even in, say, kayaking or whatnot, but we're focusing mostly on track because this was the change that they made. In track, as an individual, you're not earning team points at the Olympics. You are going after a medal. It is the important accolade that you are looking for. And I'll back it up with this. In USA women's gymnastics, up until this morning, and it changed this morning, Jordan Childs was the only member of Team USA who did not have a team medal, yet this morning competed in an individual event. All her other teammates also competed in individual events, and all of them won a medal. A gold, a silver, or a bronze. They all had won a medal. And up until this morning, she was the only one who didn't have one. She got one on this Monday morning. She got herself a bronze medal. So she got an individual medal as well, and was also part of the team that got that team medal. She didn't have to sacrifice the idea of, like, I'm going to go get my medal too in order for the team to have its bit. And so that's where I'm struggling with this, because I understand the greater good, so to speak, for all of us. Yeah, all for one, one for all. You're only as strong as your weakest link, da-da-da-da-da. But in the Olympic Games, how many opportunities do you get as an individual to compete at that level, to go, yeah, okay, I guess, and then not show up on the track?
I mean, you're sacrificing everything that you essentially worked your entire life to build for and to get to, and then how are you going to feel when the person that tells you, hey, we don't need you to run in this race, or we don't need you to compete in this event just because we're so stacked, how are you going to feel when they go on to win the gold medal?
Where it means more, and I guess this is the struggle point I have. The idea of the repechage isn't, I'm not arguing against that. My struggle is with the idea of the dream that is being taken away to win an individual medal, to be able to stand up on the podium, raise your hands high, and have that moment, as opposed to going, well, we're not sure you're going to be able to pull that one off, so you need to step out for the greater good because we think you can help us on this one other team. But you're taking away the opportunity, right? And I think that's the problem that I'm having, is that the opportunity to compete for that medal is being taken away arbitrarily. If it's voluntary, great. All the more wonderful sacrifice. You could pat your hand on the back for it. But then I wonder, what was all that sacrifice for? All the two-a-days, all the getting up in the mornings, all the long stretches, all the rehab with the weird hamstring, whatever it is, all the ingrown toenails and all those mornings and whatnot. Not saying it shouldn't be I'm not saying that selfish is right, but I think when it comes to the Olympic Games, we celebrate the idea of competition, and we celebrate the idea of wanting just a little bit more as an individual and putting yourself through all those things. So I hope in these cases in which there were a lot of did not starts and did not even take to the track, that it was a voluntary choice and wasn't a choice that was ordered. Because I hate stealing dreams. And I don't use the word hate very often. I hate the idea of stealing someone's dream. Because if that was the gig, and you just had a bad race to begin with, and you just couldn't race, and you weren't in the top two or whatnot, to be able to have that pulled away from you on the second opportunity, I think would hurt just a little bit more. All right, folks. Paul Ihander sitting in for Adam Gold today on this Monday. On the way, a few hot takes, a few quick takes, a few off-the-cuff takes, one-timers next year on The Adam Gold Show.
Raleigh to Boone, Charlotte to Chapel Hill. Your Carolina is covered. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Adam Gold here for my friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sports book, and they are the best place to bet the games this summer because right now, new customers can get $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. Then you can bet on all your favorite international teams in all your favorite sports, from basketball to badminton and soccer to swimming. FanDuel has it all. Don't miss your chance to score $150 in bonus bets if your first bet wins. Just visit FanDuel.com/AGS to sign up and start betting the games today. Make every moment more with FanDuel. 21 or over and present in North Carolina. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonuses issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See full terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
Some call it overplanning. At Alternative Power, we call it foresight. Be prepared for the next power outage with a Generac home standby generator. After sensing a power outage, a Generac generator automatically restores your home's power, whether you're home or away. Generac, it's not just a generator, it's a power move. Act now for a free 10-year warranty on a Generac home standby generator. Terms and conditions apply. See more at alternativepower.com. Alternative Power, North Carolina's Generac experts.
The North Carolina News Network and the North Carolina Healthcare Association invite you to listen to our latest podcast. Hospitals play a key role in emergency readiness alongside first responders who protect us from any scenario. During this month's conversation on the state of healthcare, we take an in-depth look at the role that First Health Moore Regional Hospital played at the U.S. Open in Pinehurst. We'll talk with Moore Regional President Jonathan Davis, who says,
"We start our day with an 8:30 safety huddle. We call it looking back, looking forward in our day, to kind of highlight and bring forward any concerns or organizational issues, community issues that may occur."
We also speak with Dr. Catherine Newell with First Health EMS. She reiterates,
"We spent about a year beforehand meeting with federal, state, and local representatives to ensure a thorough preparation for the event."
You can listen to our latest conversation wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts or by visiting nchealthcare.org.
From the mountains to the coast, there is tremendous pride in North Carolina agriculture. NC Forever Farms is a program recognizing family farms that are protecting precious working lands vital to the future of agriculture. Through permanent agricultural conservation easements, these NC Forever Farms will always be protected from development. Learn more about preserving family farms through the Farmland Preservation Division of the North Carolina Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services by visiting ncadfp.org.
Healthcare.gov is here for you when life happens. If you lost your health coverage because of turning 26, going off Medicaid, leaving your job, or moving, you could be eligible to enroll in new coverage now. And if you need to update your coverage because of marriage or having a baby, you could also be eligible. But don't wait. There's a limited time to enroll. Check your eligibility at healthcare.gov today. Life happens. Get covered. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Are you struggling with your Medicare drug costs? The NC Department of Insurance SHIP program may be able to help. The Extra Help and Medicare savings programs are available for those who qualify, but you have to apply. Contact SHIP today to see if you qualify. Visit ncshiip.com or call toll-free at 855-408-1212. SHIP provides free, unbiased help in all 100 counties.
Project supported by grants from the Administration for Community Living. Contents do not necessarily represent official views of, nor an endorsement by ACL, HHS, or the U.S. government.
This is Adam Gold.
Frankly, I'm not sure that there is a sport that we could theoretically even put in the Olympics that isn't. I said bowling. Yeah, maybe.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Croquet? Lawn darts?
I'm waiting for cornhole.
Oh, there's somebody that thinks, yeah.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's Monday. In for Adam today, Paul Ihander, Graham Hill here on the ones and the twos. Thanks for making us a part of your ride. Hopefully you've been enjoying yourself so far. This is where things could get interesting. It's time for a few one-timers.
All right, Paul Ihander and myself filling in for Victoria today and all throughout the week. Sorry for anybody that's not a fan of me. I have some one-timers for you.
Don't apologize.
And we'll get started with some college football action. Or actually, no, let's go with some college football. We talk about this a lot during our morning show. Next up, which you can listen to every morning right here from 9 to 10 on The Fan. But I just want to get your expectations for Duke, NC State, and UNC this upcoming season. No particular order, feel free.
One-timers for Duke, North Carolina, and State. All right, so let's start at the top. We'll just go in order. Duke will make a bowl this year. Duke will be a bowl team this year, whether it's 7-6 or 8-5 or whatnot. Manny Diaz will be able to continue the culture there once he decides on his starting quarterback. They have plenty of weapons. There's no doubt about it. The schedule's a little light early on for Duke. They play a bunch of Friday night games, which doesn't exactly help them a little bit because it throws off that Saturday whatnot, but winnable games right out of the gate. You take what you can get, and you fight your way through it. I don't think you want to underestimate the Duke Blue Devils team. Now, granted, it is a brand new system that's being put in place, both offensively and defensively, but there's plenty of continuity that has to be around. If Malik Murphy or Grayson Loftus can get something going, either one of them gets hot or they figure it out real quick, I think Duke could be one of those sleeper teams. And remember, when it comes to the ACC, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, theys and thems, there are 17 teams in the ACC. So everybody's going to beat up on each other just a little bit. There are no conferences or divisions to speak of. So I think Duke's a bowl team. I really do. I know that might be sticking myself out there a little bit farther on the ledge, leaning over for that Instagram photo. But I think they could be a bowl team once again. And maybe it's not that Birmingham Bowl that they went to last year either.
Yeah, I mean, going to the season where it feels like the theme is change, uncertainty, Manny Diaz back as a head coach in the ACC, leading the Blue Devils. You're trying to figure out if you're going to have Malik Murphy or Grayson Loftus as your starting quarterback for that Friday night opener against Elon. The goal would have to be a bowl game, especially when you look at their conference portion of the schedule. After the game against Elon, UConn, Northwestern, also Friday night game, and then Middle Tennessee, they start running a gauntlet with Carolina on the road. They welcome SMU and Florida State both at home. They got to go to NC State. They play Miami. That's just going to be an emotional game. If Duke were to get to a bowl game, that would certainly be a successful season for Manny Diaz.
Absolutely. And it's about buying into the culture, right? And making sure that it's all ready to go. So I'm good with that one. I'm comfortable with that one. Carolina probably in that same bit, right? Bowl team, no doubt about it. Expectations were very high last year with Drake May. A little bit different of a situation this year. Again, quarterback competition. Again, right? We have question marks, big question marks, and a smaller red mark over the top of that question mark. We all know what they can do in the backfield. Walter Camp Award nominee Omarion Hampton just today made that list. So they know what they've got in terms of toting the mail. The question is, can the defense rise to that same challenge? You expect a little bit more of a ball control kind of offense for Carolina this year, not so much, let's see what Drake May can bail us out of this time kind of thing. But the expectation should still be, hey, we're going to play in the postseason. Is this, and let's be honest, is this a team that can make the 12-team CFP? Only if the right things happen. I don't think it'll happen.
I mean, call my baby ugly, but am I the only one that thinks that this North Carolina roster is just as talented as the one last year, other than the fact that Drake May is not at quarterback? I mean, Max Johnson's good enough as a quarterback playing the SEC. Connor Harrell, he has the body of a perfect quarterback as far as just his strength, his size, the experience in the SEC. And then Connor Harrell can run the football. You already have seen glimpses of him in that game against Campbell last year, and then the bowl game. And then, of course, Omarion Hampton. You bring back good wide receivers in Bryce and Nesbitt, John Copenhagen at tight end. And for North Carolina's schedule, it's not too daunting to me. I mean,
it's not a beast of a schedule.
Florida State on the road, then NC State at home are the two ones that I have circled as challenges for them.
But if I look at what Jeff Collins has to work with, again, new defensive coordinator, right? Got to figure things out. Chip is still there on the OC side, so that's not going to change. You still have the same interchangeable pieces. It'll be about how well they can figure out that chemistry, right? Which is why I lean on a ball control offense, right? Keep the defense on the field in situations that it can control until they get their feet underneath them. Again, CFP team, not quite sure.
No.
But could they make some waves? Absolutely.
9-win season would be my ceiling for North Carolina this year.
All right, good ceiling. All right, so we come to NC State. NC State with the highest expectations. They know it. I think we know it. They're settled at a number of positions across the board, offense and defense. Like, this team should be playing with reckless abandon. There's no doubt about it. And the fact that they see the same two teams ahead of them in the standings when it came to a preseason media poll in Clemson and Florida State should piss them off. Like, up and down, left and right. It should be the full bulletin board material. I believe in bulletin board material. I do. Write it all up there. When you say something, someone says something terrible about you, someone says something about you that you're not a big fan of, put it on the board. Keep those receipts. Because when it comes down to playing those teams, and State will be playing at Clemson early in this season, that'll be one of their bigger tests. Not just Tennessee, but in ACC play. That'll be a big one. And if they can take and chop the Tigers down by the knees, boy, the sky's the limit for State. But they know what the expectation is. That's not just a fan expectation. That's playing games on paper right now.
Tennessee's big just for the exception of that's just big for the conference, right? That gives ACC some some kind of puff your chest energy a little bit. They're able to go into Charlotte and beat Tennessee. And also that helps them if along the lines and the stars align. College football resume, that's good for them. Clemson, you win that game, you control your own destiny for the rest of the season, especially in ACC play. If we're being honest, go look at NC State's home schedule and tell me they shouldn't go undefeated at home. That should put them at 6 wins right there.
Win the ones you're supposed to win and see if you can grab 1 or 2 on the road. Get the 10 wins, put yourself in the conversation, and don't take bad losses. Losses are okay now in this 12-team expanded field of CFP. They just can't be bad ones.
Their road schedule's not all that daunting either, other than going out to they go to Cal to welcome in their fellow ACC neighbors across the coastline.
It's pretty out there.
And then they have Carolina on the road. And Georgia Tech, I kind of looked at that game as a trap game, but after we had Corey Smith on Next Up this past Friday, he said that falls right in between their bye week, and then they have 8 days to prepare for the final game against North Carolina. So expectations for me, ACC championship or bust.
Get ready, buckle up. Get ready, buckle up. Get ready, buckle up. We are under 4 weeks. Under 4 weeks.
In the short time that we have remaining, just quick question. Which player has stood out to you the most so far from Carolina Panthers training camp?
Oh, I'm a big fan of Clowney. Clowney all day long. He says all the right things. He looks physically fit. It's clear that he's been a disruptor throughout his entire professional career. Jadeveon Clowney for me. I'm like, hands down. I'm not sure how much I need to expand on that, to be honest. He is that kind of a force. He has proven it over and over and again. Now, do I wish it was a 5-year deal? I'm not sure if his body or his mind would want a 5-year deal with the Carolina Panthers, but Dan Morgan did not do his team any wrong in signing Jadeveon Clowney. He has proven everything and been as advertised as he is supposed to be. That is the guy that will stir the drink totally for Evero's defense. All day long. Every day. Defense. Defense, defense. I'm a big fan of Clowney.
I appreciate you going the defensive player and Clowney, the new guy, and kind of has the home roots to North Carolina and the Panthers. But to me, just with the expectations going into the season, especially after we saw last year, it has to be Miles Sanders. From what we've heard so far out of training camp as far as the intensity he's showing, kind of not jawing back at the media, but certainly letting the media know that he reads the press clippings, he listens to the sound bites, he listens to the Adam Gold Show from noon to 3 right here on 99.9 The Fan. I think it's got to be Miles Sanders just because in order for this run game to work, it can't all just be Chuba Hubbard.
Sanders is a great pick. I just need Sanders to erase all memories of him being in a Philadelphia Eagles uniform, which is where I still see him in my head. I'm still trying to picture him in a Panthers uniform. I want to picture him in a Panthers uniform being productive. I want to picture him in a Panthers uniform having that kind of offensive jolt, that bolt, that initial step that made him such a power within the system that was in Philadelphia. And I'm hoping that Canales and Idzik can get him uncorked and get him running good. But he's already running mean. I just want him running good now. All right, Adam Gold Show chugs its way into hour number 2. Paul Ihander in for Adam. Hopefully this Monday's been awesome.
Raleigh to Boone, Charlotte to Chapel Hill. Your Carolina is covered. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
Dak Prescott should be the one voice in that organization. He always says the right thing. He always presents a great front, and he always presents team first, winning, class. He's awesome. He should be the one voice. They will never do it. There shouldn't be the Jerry Jones weekly radio show. There shouldn't be the Jerry Jones press conferences, all the different things he says. But that man, Dak Prescott, should be the one voice in that organization.
Mornings from 6 to 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Hey, it's Roger Moore, CEO of Loan Pronto. If you're like me, you're getting crushed by rising costs of everything these days. I get it. It's brutal, and credit card rates are ridiculous and going higher. That's why at Loan Pronto, we launched our Express Equity Line of Credit to bring you the relief you and your family need, using your home, your most valuable asset. We've helped thousands of people like you get fast relief with cash. The average homeowner who does this gets tens of thousands in just days and is able to save $850 per month in overall expenses. I'm talking life-changing money. Your money that you have access to right now. Listen, if you're ready to get control of your finances and get off the hamster wheel, call Loan Pronto. You can get approved for Express Equity Line of Credit in just minutes, and we can get your cash in less than a week. Stop digging a deeper credit card hole today. Call Loan Pronto now. 919-381-1760. 919-381-1760. LoanPronto.com. 919-381-1760.
Equal housing lender. NMLS 166-1781. Subject to lender approval. NMLS ConsumerAccess.org.
Organize easy. Organize tough. Customize your work truck or van with upfit solutions from Van Products. Steel and aluminum shelving, toolboxes, data files, cabinets, drawers, conduit carriers, ladder racks, everything safe and secure. Everything built as unbreakable as you by Adrian Steel. Backed by the best warranty in the business. 3 years, 36,000 miles. Everything custom installed by Van Products so you know it's done right. From a single work rig to a fleet, choose custom installed upfit solutions from Van Products.
Nothing makes being outdoors better than having the right gear and the right crew. So here's an idea. Let Mountain Dew supply the gear and you bring the friends. Because when you buy specially marked multi-packs of Mountain Dew, you can collect points and earn epic limited edition outdoor gear. So buy Dew, collect points, get gear, and get outside with Mountain Dew outdoor gear.
Open to legal U.S. residents 18 plus. Subject to program terms at dewoutdoors.com. Ends 12/31/24. Void or prohibited.
Want a great deal on Mountain Dew? Handy Hugo's offering 2 20-ounce Mountain Dews for just $4. Do the Dew at Handy Hugo's today.
Celebrate the month of August with Zero Res and get 3 rooms of carpet cleaned starting at just $115 and take 25% off your air duct cleaning on top of that. Visit ZeroResRaleigh.com or call 919-995-0000.
At Lowe's, save big every day. Right now, get a free pneumatic nailer when you buy a pallet of Metabo HPT nails. And there's more. Save 10% on select shingles when you buy in bulk. Visit us in-store or online for low prices on the materials you need. Because Lowe's knows savings. Lowe's knows pros. Selection varies by location. While supplies last, discount taken at time of purchase. See sales associate for details.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm Injury Lawyers.
He scores! What a comeback!
Visit GotBryan.com. That's GotBryan.com.
WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on radio, web, app, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
This is the Adam Gold Show.
In my mind, she's the greatest athlete that there is. You know, the fact that she has done this for the longevity of her career in a sport that, you know, traditionally has been the domain of teenage girls, and she is 27 right now. She's better than she's ever been. She's doing things that we cannot do. The normal human being cannot do anything that she does, and she does it with ease. And then you throw in the fact of what happened in Tokyo and her comeback from that. She's a transformational, a transcendent athlete. I think there's no other word to use to describe her.
The Adam Gold Show on this Monday. Paul Ihander in for Adam Gold today. Adam taking a couple of days off to get himself right. Certainly ahead of a very, very busy fall for all of us, but well-deserved time off. Graham Hill is here as well, filling in for Victoria, also taking on some well-deserved time off. Say good afternoon, Graham.
Good afternoon, beautiful people. Listen in Wilmington and now Greenville.
Well, they're statewide. Statewide network. We appreciate all of you joining us here on this Monday. We've had lots of things to chop up. As we get things started here, the idea of the Olympic Games, right? We are moving into week number 2. And you heard at the top of the show there the talk about Simone Biles. The one thing that I'm not crazy about talking about Simone Biles is age. Age is, as Aaliyah would say, ain't nothing but a number. She's 27. Congratulations. You made it to 27. She started competing in her teens. There are fully fledged adults. The shooter from Turkey, the guy who basically looks like a guy who just stumbled into the Olympic Games after, having breakfast and paper with his buddies at the local breakfast place, who has gold medals and silver medals now. He's 51. I'm like, I understand, and I'm not taking away from Simone Biles, and that is not my intent whatsoever. I think she's a magnificent athlete. But when we talk about Simone Biles' accomplishments, we shouldn't be talking about her age. We should be talking about the ability. The ability that she does do things that others do not do. She is explosive and powerful when it comes to being a gymnast. I have no doubt that she could do things in other sports that others cannot accomplish. On this Monday morning, she finished her Paris Games with a silver medal. She has 11 medals in international competition when it comes to the Olympics. Golds and silvers and bronzes. On this trip to the Olympics, she managed a team gold and individual golds as well, and a silver as well. All her teammates did the same thing. Simone Biles, though, has no comparison. There's no one else that can look at her and go, yeah, I can do that. I'm right there with her in terms of just sheer ability. So I do want to take age out of that conversation. I think it's inappropriate to talk about it because it is about the athlete and where you go. There are NBA players who play deep into their 30s and 40s. They are not over the hill. There are NFLers who play deep into their 30s and 40s and are not over the hill. Major League Baseball players, hockey players play well past their so-called prime. And for gymnastics, yes, admittedly, gymnastics is a younger person's game. It is about growing up in a sport that you love and you want to tumble and you want to do cartwheels. My daughter does cartwheels. She loves to pretend that she's a gymnast. She loves seeing that stuff. She loves watching them perform. She sees teenagers do it. I have friends with teenagers who are in gymnastics. And this continues all the way into the college. And yes, it is rare that they go beyond that and extend their wings into whatever motherhood age or auntie age or whatever you want to call it. But I think we need to take age out of that conversation, the same way you have to take age out of the conversation with Katie Ledecky, who has been one of the most dominant female swimmers of the last 10 years. Nobody talked about Michael Phelps and his age when he swam in the pool. They just talked about whether or not he could swim faster than the next guy. And it was always just about the names that you knew, not about how old they were or whatever it said on their birth certificate. It was about what they could do ability-wise. No one's going to say that the 51-year-old shooter from Turkey shouldn't be there because you know what? He could shoot. He shot in mixed team competition and he shot in individual competition. No one's questioning the age of a kayaker. No one's questioning the age of a sprinter. And I see the ages of the sprinters. They're in their late teens, and some are even in their 30s, and they're still competing at higher levels. The one thing we should take out of the Olympic Games, it is about the best in the sport, not about how old you are. It is about how well you can execute. For the Team USA team, and again, the noise has been out there about whether or not this team could win gold medals. They've won gold medals. Was it at a clip that we are used to as Team USA? Not so much, right? Struggled a little bit out of the gate. Gymnastics made up for it. Swimming made up for it too. And then we get some great performances out of shot put, right? Ryan Krauser does what he does, wins another gold medal, his third in 3 Olympic Games. We pick up one there. We pick up ones in other places. But it reminds you and should suggest to you that sport is global, that not everything well done in sports is done within our 50 great states of America and the District of Columbia, that it is done just as well in other countries. The other countries are catching up to us, folks. The other countries are getting faster. The other countries are figuring it out because technology knows no bounds. When the swimmers wiggle their way into those suits, which cause, cuts on their fingers and makes it really difficult, but gives them an extra 1/10 of a second or an extra 2/10 of a second to make sure that that silver medal stays silver or that bronze medal is a bronze medal or that gold stays gold in the country. Everybody has access to those things now because sports are global. The training becomes a lot similar. Yes, we do see some instances where you have a team, basketball team like South Sudan, right? South Sudan has been a country for less than 15 years, has no practice indoor courts whatsoever in basketball. but they still made it to the Olympic Games, played well, even got a dub over Puerto Rico, in which the Americans destroyed Puerto Rico in their final game over the weekend, and now we're moving on to take on Brazil as the rounds progress here. I believe it's the quarterfinal round for Team USA. But the world is catching up. Those stories that we look for, the unicorn athletes and whatnot, those still pop up. The pommel horse guy, right? We keep calling him pommel horse guy. The guy from Penn State who won a bronze in pommel horse, sat around for 3 hours. He can solve Rubik's Cubes and then led Team USA to a team medal at the games. We have that guy. We have the Turkish shooter guy. We have the kayaker. We have the road cyclist from Sitka, Alaska, who gave up a job and investment, who just won the America's first cycling race in forever and a day. We still have those stories, but they will come fewer and fewer and farther in between because the world is catching up to Team USA.
And just as an overall team sport, we have many great stories that we can go on to share about and that we can kind of still hang our hats on as Americans, men's basketball and women's soccer. And it's kind of cool to see kind of two generational teams, with men's basketball being led by, of course, LeBron James and Kevin Durant. Steph Curry, even though it's his first Olympics, great NBA player. And then you have this new roster, this new generation of women for the women's soccer team that's kind of leading the charge right now for America.
The passing of the torch has happened, at least in women's soccer. In men's basketball, not so much. But, hey, Anthony Edwards' birthday is today. Anthony Edwards, the Ant-Man, playing on Team USA, the youngest player on Team USA, 23 years old today.
How hyped do you think Anthony Edwards gets for his own birthday? Because just 364 days of the year, he's just nothing but nonstop energy teaching people what DX is, or teaching other countries what DX is on the baseline of these basketball games.
Again, with Anthony Edwards at 23 years old is probably having his best birthday yet. I have no doubt about it. But you see that torch hasn't quite been passed there. But it has been passed in women's soccer. There's no doubt about that. And it's soon to happen in women's basketball, too. It's the swan song for Diana Taurasi. We see the evolution of sport, right? We see it happening. And we see these generations move forward, and we celebrate those championships. We celebrate those victories, those podium finishes, and in some cases we celebrate those appearances because they were never meant to happen, yet there they are standing, competing at the Olympic Games. It's truth. There's so much to be proud of for Team USA. We just have to take, not just think, just strike that. We must take age out of the equation because amazing things happen at amazing times when we are least looking forward to seeing those things. And there's still another 6 days of Olympic Games. Before they pass the torch, yes, ladies and gentlemen, before they pass that torch to the United States, in which the games will be held in Los Angeles, in which surfing will not be in Tahiti, but maybe off San Clemente, California, or maybe they pushed a pipeline in Hawaii. Only time will tell, but let's just pray that they have some more wave action as opposed to what they've had in Papeete in the last few days. But apparently surfing is going to go off today, women's and men's. There are United States athletes involved in those finals as well. All right, friends, we're going to switch gears here as we move forward. We've talked some college football today. We're going to talk a little bit about what's happening in Greenville and the East Carolina Pirates, looking to rebound from a 2-10 seasons. It's the 6th year for Mike Houston in Greenville. Will 6 be enough? It's coming up next year on The Adam Gold Show.
Serving it up hot and fresh every day. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
You heard the perfect scores on air.
Just before the buzzer, that's 5 for 5.
We're bringing those champions to the stage. It's our inaugural Numbers Game Live show, presented by Sharky's Place Sports Bar and Grill. Our invitation-only event brings past players together August 21st at the Hilton Raleigh North Hills. Join us on YouTube as we crown a Numbers Game champ. Special thanks to on-site audio-visual, supplying the sights and sounds of the Numbers Game Live.
Adam Gold here from my man, Coach Pete DeRuta, Capital Financial Advisory Group in Apex. I'm going to make this very simple. We all think about retiring. At some point, even when you have just entered the workforce, you go, how long do I have to do this before I can do whatever it is I want? And maybe you're like in your late 50s, early 60s, and you go, you know what, how much more do I have to do this? Sort of sounds like the same question, doesn't it? Anyway, Coach Pete DeRuta, Capital Financial Advisory Group in Apex. These are the retirement planning experts. They'll get you ready for whatever the next phase is of your life financially. All you have to do is call them, 888-843-0013, or text Adam to 600-700. And if you do that now, we're going to get you a total customized retirement plan for you, designed for your needs, your wants, your desires, for free. It's a $1,000 value. Call 888-843-0013, or text Adam to 600-700 and take advantage of this offer right now with Coach Pete DeRuta. Retire on your terms.
It's bow time.
A leg and thigh dinner from Bojangles for just $5.99?
Leg and thigh dinner from Bojangles for just $5.99?
So crispy.
So crispy.
And juicy.
And juicy.
So much flavor.
So much.
Stop it. What are you doing?
What, you expect me to get this delicious deal and not say anything?
You're unbelievable.
You're unbelievable.
With a boldly seasoned leg and thigh, choice of fixin', a biscuit, and legendary iced tea, it's a deal so good it's worth repeating. So eat and repeat while it lasts. It's bow time.
It's bow time. Dine in, drive through, or tap your favorite delivery app and have Bojangles come to you. Satisfy your craving for flavor right now with Bojangles two-piece dinner. 2 pieces of Bojangles dark meat chicken, your choice of fixin', a biscuit, and iced tea for just $5.99. That's right, just $5.99 for limited time at participating Bojangles. What are you waiting for? When you're hungry, it's always bow time.
Total Wireless is made to totally keep up with you. We now have unlimited data that never slows you down. Covered by the Verizon 5G network. And for less than $30 a month, we make your phone your ride or die. Switch now and pick a free 5G phone with qualified plan purchase. And your 4th line at no additional cost. Visit your local Total Wireless store today. Total Wireless, we're totally with you. Actual speeds may vary by location. For data management practices, see TotalWireless.com.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to my computer career and they talked to me about it.
He was done in just months.
I did do it online.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months with zero experience at My Computer Career.
It worked for me and I know it can work for you.
It's not rocket science. It's mycomputercareer.edu.
Wait, she's posting pics with a dude in Mexico. We just broke up.
If Heineken Silver was a doom-scrolling ex-boyfriend, it would have all the feels. None of the new boyfriend jealousy.
She looks happy. I'm gonna message her. Hey, Stace, loved the super cute post with @RadRyan7. Enjoy Mexico and that ceviche spot from last year. Send pics.
Heineken Silver, world-class light beer. Only 2.9 grams of carbs and 95 calories. All the taste, no bitter endings. Order now at Heineken.com/silver. Must be 21 and older to purchase. Enjoy Heineken responsibly.
This is Adam Gold.
Thank you very much for your time, man. We will talk again.
Adam, anytime for you, my friend.
Thank you. I don't know why it makes me laugh. Why does that make me laugh?
I don't know. Maybe you just are used to people being mean to you or something, like Twitter. I don't know.
The Adam Gold Show.
The Adam Gold Show on this Monday. Paul Ihander in for Adam Gold today. Graham Hill here in for Victoria. So the twos are in here today. We are going to talk a little bit of East Carolina football here. Joining us is Patrick Johnson, host of the Patrick Johnson Show on 94.3 The Game. Also handles play-by-play for high school football. He's going to be doing a little bit at the end of the month on August the 30th. He's got a Holly Springs and Clayton game coming up. Patrick, thanks for hanging out with us today here on the Adam Gold Show. I know we are going to talk about ECU football, but I think we need to talk about a big loss that just occurred within the Greenville community. Certainly, it was an ACC official. Lots of tributes coming out last night. The certainly untimely death. I don't think there's a better way to put it, but certainly a tragic and a big loss to just the sports community in general when it comes to North Carolina, and certainly Greenville, as Ramey Steins passed away yesterday. Is there a story that you can say about Ramey that really kind of encompasses the man that he was?
Well, I think the big thing, Paul, and it's great to talk to you again and be with Graham again. I think the big thing is Ramey was flying back from coaching the Little League All-Star team for the right to go to the Little League World Series in Williamsport. They were down in Warner Robins, Georgia, and Ramey didn't have a child or a grandchild on the team. Ramey was giving of his time. Of course, he played minor league baseball, had over 50 homers, played baseball at East Carolina on some of Gary Overton's NCAA teams back when they had the 8-team regionals and the big boy regionals, as some in baseball like to call them. And just a heck of a guy in the community, obviously a well-respected basketball official. He coached softball in the Greenville community and Winterville community, baseball. His son, of course, is a basketball official. One of the games I did last year in college hoops, his son was a replacement referee on and did a heck of a job. It was a great communicator, probably was the best official on the floor that night. So that I'm sure made Ramey proud. His in-laws are from New Bern. I just got something from their church sent to me via my colleague in basketball, Cy Seymour, who lives in New Bern. Ramey was just a guy you wouldn't think that he would have a sudden event, the magnitude, from what we understand, he had, because he did 100 college basketball games a year. He was fit. He you know, his age, he didn't even look his age. I wish I could look half as good at my age as Ramey looked. And a big loss. One of my really good friends in Greenville was his neighbor, and he said, Ramey taught my son how to play ball. You know, baseball. That's pretty good stuff. Had a couple daughters too. One played softball at UNCW, and one was taking and does continue to take. It was the plan this year to take photos, be the official photographer for the softball Little League World Series that's being played in Greenville this week. So a lot of ties to the community, and as you noted, across the ACC and across college basketball, Ramey Steins, that name was one that he was a genuine guy, a competitor, but he, you know, I think he had a great relationship with all of the basketball coaches that he officiated their games, and he understood, you know, being an athlete, how competitive those environments are. And I don't think he took any time a coach would get on him in any way personally, but he also wouldn't take any plays off. That was something when he coached even Little League sports, Paul. He would get on an umpire if he felt they were taking a play off. He always had a high standard. So a heck of a guy. It's a sad community in Greenville today. That's been a unfortunate and sad story. Kind of like you guys, I filled in this morning on our Talk Properties morning show, and we had someone on to talk about Ramey. It's just fascinating to me, all the different parts of the community. They all kind of knew him for something different. So I think that's, if you can be that well-rounded in life, what a life you've lived.
Patrick Johnson joining us, host of the Patrick Johnson Show, 94.3 The Game in Greenville. And just to piggyback on this just a little bit here, Patrick, he was a Little League coach, and I've been a Little League coach for years. And
yeah.
The amount of touch points that you have within your community, and certainly, and you spoke well to that he taught boys and girls this game and the love of the game, that truly will be one of, I can only admit that it'll be one of his lasting legacies within the Greenville community.
Yeah, absolutely. Was a 3-sport athlete in Plymouth, which is about an hour or so northeast of Greenville. On your way to the Outer Banks, for many, they'll pass through Plymouth, and that's the big thing. Just someone that was really invested in the community's youth. I mean, could have coached older kids in baseball, but felt like he wanted to coach those young guys that are in Little League. And here's the thing that just breaks your heart, Paul. His grandson was going to start Little League next year, so he would have had an opportunity to be involved in that.
Yeah.
With his grandson involved. But certainly our condolences and prayers go out to his family and his many, many friends in the college sports business.
Patrick Johnson, host of the Patrick Johnson Show on 94.3 The Game, joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. I am Paul Ihander, filling in for Adam today. All right, no easy way to shift gears here, but we did promise we'd talk about East Carolina football as they get things rolling here in the AAC, the new look AAC, and a new look Pirates football team, 6th year for Mike Houston. Obviously, we're talking about improvement from 2-10. The immediate need, I'm assuming, is to fix an anemic offense.
Well, they feel like they've done that with John David Baker coming in from Ole Miss as the offensive coordinator. They freshened it up, got a couple of transfers at the quarterback spot out of the portal. Graham would have been a more effective quarterback last year than what they had, quite honestly, believe it or not. And you've got Caden Hauser, out of Michigan State. You've got Jake Garcia, of course, kind of a well-traveled guy that played at 5 high schools in 4 years because of COVID and some other things. Started, his career playing in Miami, was at Missouri last year, and just hasn't really caught on despite the brilliant talent that he is. They flipped a coin on day one of camp, and they're alternating taking snaps with the ones. We'll see how that plays out, at least out of the weekend. That was still the case, and the Pirates finish up things in shells today before they start to go to the pads. So can you get a quarterback that can grasp JDB's offense? It is going to be fast. They want to get a lot of snaps. Think Rich Rod. Think the Pirate. Think all of these different Lane Kiffin even. Think all of these coaches, and there is a little bit of what John David Baker has taken from all of them, the San Angelo, Texas native, and applied it to what he is going to run in Greenville. They got the whole playbook in the spring. It's just a matter of honing in and fine-tuning what they feel like are their best plays based on whoever winds up at quarterback. Winston Wright in as a receiver, the great talent out of FSU and West Virginia. Anthony Smith from Raleigh, NC State at receiver. So they got Chase Soule as well. They have receivers back who are productive in the realm of Soule. They have a lot of excitement. Feel like there's a high upside with Wright and Smith in particular, and then Rajay Harris at running back, as healthy as he's been since his freshman year when he was the AAC Rookie of the Year.
Patrick Johnson, host of the Patrick Johnson Show on our network station 94.3 The Game in Greenville. Yes, Triangle listeners, we are talking some East Carolina Pirate football on our station today. Patrick, you talk about the quarterback position, which is always critical, and I know last season the Pirates certainly struggled. I mean, you might be undercutting it, saying I could have been a better quarterback for the Pirates last season.
No, you could have been. But I think someone without arms could have been a better quarterback.
Well, that's really the press really putting it out there. But Caden Hauser, the transfer from Michigan State, the Pirates get him out of the portal. What can Pirate Nation expect from him this upcoming season?
Well, I think Hauser, Graham, is more of the all-around quarterback. You know, he could certainly fit the ball in certain windows. He's got a really good grasp about him as far as grasping the game, grasping what they want to do offensively, kind of a thinker back there at quarterback with some physical gifts, and someone that really, has a different personality than Jake Garcia, but has a lot of presence. Garcia is the one that, might not hang in there in the pocket so long, but has the natural gifts to take off and create a play and get something. He also has a heck of an arm. So it's just going to depend, with Hauser. I don't want to say he's the incumbent here because it doesn't seem like that's truly the case, although it kind of feels like it's Hauser's opportunity to maybe not seize here. Might be a different way of putting it. But, you've got two talented quarterbacks. And the big win for Mike Houston was keeping both of them on the roster after the window for the portal closed, because you are coming up here with a legitimate competition and a legitimate opportunity for those two.
All right. It's hard to hide star players, but when you hear reports or admitted fact that he turned down big money to stay at ECU, 6'3" senior defensive back, Savon Ravel.
Savon. By the way, it's Savon. I think he's watched too much of the Paris Olympics. He now goes by Savon.
Savon Ravel. Junior. It's hard to hide somebody like that on defense. How are teams going to have to adjust to him? I mean, I'm assuming that whoever starts opposite him is going to see about 90% of the work.
Yeah, you're right. He takes away half the field. And he battled an injury last year that he gutted through. He got surgery in the spring. That's why he didn't participate in the spring. He can go match it. You can match him up on the opposition's best receiver, and it's going to be kind of a shutdown situation there at corner. And as you say, that opens things up for an Isaiah Brown Murray, IBM, to maybe step up and make plays. That opens up things for others, Fletcher and Brown and Patterson and others for the Pirates to step in and make plays. Andrew Wilson, Lamp, others. Um, so they will get their opportunity. That also, allows it's a known commodity. So as they determine who else is going to play in the secondary, it allows you to have a lot of real big time reps with them. And you've got someone who is a player with some moxie and and could probably play his way, especially if he's healthy, to maybe being a day one guy. He has that kind of ability, Paul. Revel has that kind of ability where he could be the guy that you might hear his name called in the first round if he can make some play. They really are looking at him being a turnover forcing guy, having a big year, especially now that he's healthy with that growing.
Patrick Johnson is joining us on the Adam Gold Show alongside Paul Ihander filling in for Adam. I'm Graham Hill. Patrick, when I look at ECU's football schedule this year, I don't see an SMU just because, hey, welcome to the ACC Mustangs. And then the Pirates are not having to ride the green wave of Tulane. So when you look at the American Athletic Conference portion of the schedule for ECU, is it fair to say it might be pretty wide open this year for the Pirates?
Well, I think East Carolina's got to feel good about the schedule, particularly in the American. I talk with my colleague, Jay Sonalder, who does a lot of ESPN stuff and works on the FNR broadcast with me in the Triangle there. And he's an ECU guy, and we talk a lot about the Pirates. I certainly think Norfolk State should be a game that is one you can handle. Then you go to ODU. That's a little tricky, but, they were a bowl team last year. Pirates look to get out to the 2-0 start. And then you got App State and then at Liberty in back-to-back weeks, the 14th and the 21st, Graham. And I think that first month is going to be a lot more telling, especially with this new offense and a new quarterback. They open with UTSA to end September as their conference opener. UTSA is picked as one of the teams to represent the American in the league's championship game. They and Memphis and some say USF. South Florida is a little bit of an outside dark horse. A lot of people like Tulane as well. So after that, it becomes manageable. You go to Charlotte. You get a week off prior to Army. Temple for homecoming. FAU on a Thursday night, which is early enough in November. Everybody should still be engaged, and it shouldn't be too cold to scare the fans away. You go to Tulsa, and then at North Texas, and then Navy after Thanksgiving to wrap things up at home. So that's a very manageable schedule for the Pirates on paper. But as you guys know, as the cliche goes, we don't play the games on paper. So we will see.
That's the truth. But in some cases, you may wish you could play some of the games on paper after. Well, and I say that because after 5 years, Mike Houston got that dreaded vote of confidence in the offseason.
Yeah.
And is it safe to say, Patrick, that out of all the coaches here in the Carolinas, that he is the one that is at risk right now, that performance needs to match what the expectation is?
Well, I think Mike Houston would be the first to tell you that he has as high an expectation as anybody of what he expects this year out of this team and what he expects out of himself and his staff. That's why he made the changes he made on his staff, particularly on the offensive staff. That's why he was as aggressive as he was in their Boneyard Collective, Team Boneyard, and teamboneyard.org were as active as they were and as aggressive as they were in the portal. That was non-existent going into his fifth year, to be quite honest. So people got on board with that. So you look at the money that was put in NIL. It never seems like that's enough, but it was a healthy amount. You look at the fact that the Pirates seem to have, again, on paper, a manageable schedule in conference. There's a lot of excitement. The quarterbacks look good in the spring for what that was worth in the spring game. So there is a lot of excitement, and it is year 6. And, I think last year, Mike Houston told us many times as I hosted the coaches show last year on radio, he told us a lot of times, this is something that he's never gone through before. And he exhausted a lot of hours trying to figure out how to turn it around. last year. And, I thought it really didn't take a negative toll on Mike in the sense that he was not well, but, you could just tell he was burning a lot of hours to try to figure this out last year. And the team was close at times. I mean, it wasn't like they were just totally blown out like in some poor seasons in the past, the Scotty Montgomery era, which was, an unmitigated disaster. The John Thompson era, replacing the great Steve Logan. I mean, that was 2 years of just inept football. Pirates weren't exactly in every single game. They had a couple where they ended up, the score was indicative of the game, but by and large, they were in most every game that they played in last year. Michigan, you could say maybe that one got away from them early and they just couldn't move the football. Marshall put it away late. So in a lot of the games, they were, the play was not necessarily indicative of the score, and they were in a lot of games in the fourth quarter. They got those breaks the year before with Holton Ahlers and veterans on the offensive side. So we'll see how it plays this year. I mean, again, as you guys know, this is one of those situations where it's such a fine line to win games now in a lot of these conferences. A break or two here changes the way that things go, and certainly the Pirates are going to try to create their own luck a lot more this season. And I think the offense is going to be vastly improved because it'll at least be more exciting. You'll feel like there's a lot more that can happen offensively, and I think you've got to have that in East Carolina. You need to be able to, in college football now, score a lot of points to be successful and win games. And I think at East Carolina, you don't have to be gimmicky, but you do have to be offensive minded.
Norfolk State on August 31st, 26 days away. Patrick Johnson hosts the Patrick Johnson Show on 94.3 The Game in Greenville. Patrick, appreciate your time, man. Appreciate the insight.
Thank you. When you come to Greenville, let us know. We'll get you set up very good down there. We'll set you up really good with the tailgate and everything going on.
Excellent. I've spent a little time down there, but didn't tailgate as hard as I wanted to. So I do appreciate that invite, and I will take you up on that.
Yeah, please do. You guys be well, take care, and thanks for the time. And if there's anything you need, let us know.
All right, Patrick Johnson, host of the Patrick Johnson Show, 94.3 The Game in Greenville, also an affiliate on the Adam Gold Show Network. Paul Ihander in for Adam Gold today. So as we continue a little bit of football talk here, those of you who play fantasy football, and some of you may have a team or two, I can only imagine that. I would imagine that listeners of the Adam Gold Show would have fantasy football teams, whether it's by fun or whether they're just ordering it up by, I don't know, who knows, by favorite mascots or whatever. I have some friends that have their kids pick their own teams and whatnot. There's no scientific rhyme or reason whatsoever. It just happens to know, hey, do I know that name, or do I have a buddy in my class that has that same name? And they pick, and sometimes they get lucky. We hear those lucky stories. But sometimes it just doesn't work out. And for those of you who are in serious fantasy football leagues, or just one league, for example, you may want to think creatively about what kind of punishment you may be going up against. Because when it comes to fantasy football, there are unique ways in how you pay things off. Now, in one of the leagues that I'm in, it's just straight cash, homie. That's all it is. I'm like, hey, winner, and second runner-up, they get paid out. Runner-up gets their cash back. Top player in the league, I play in one 12-team league. It's just straight cash. That's all it is. Take the money and run. That's what it is, right? Is that the Eagles or is that Eddie money? One way or the other. You would know. Eagles. Yes, Eagles. Eagles take the money and run. Luke Combs. We all knew Luke Combs, right? Country singer.
Long neck, ice cold beer, never broke my. That theme song's coming to Greenville also in week 2 this football season. Get ready, Pirate fans.
So Luke Combs has a fantasy football league that he's in, that he plays with his high school buddies. And hats off to all of you who still have your high school friends in your phones, or still keep in touch with them, or maybe they're your next door neighbors. Whatever it is, if you still have those relationships, good on you, because lifelong friendships are wonderful to have. I have a handful of those. Those of you who still have them too, well done on you. It means you've grown that plant, you've grown that tree, and let those roots spread out no matter where you all are at in your lives. Luke Combs plays fantasy football with a bunch of guys from high school. Still, after decades, still plays fantasy football with them. Well, their creative fantasy football punishment, at least this year, when it came to scoring and how things worked out, was they had to go on stage with him and sing. And I'm not sure. To be honest, Graham, I'm not sure if this is punishment or not. Like if I had a famous friend, I don't have famous friends. I have friends who own businesses, and they may be famous in their own hometowns, which I believe is also a country song. Famous in your hometown. I believe that's a country song. They're famous in their hometowns, but I don't have famous friends. Now, if I had a famous friend who acted or sang or played professional sports, and I was invited to hang out with them and to have to perform my punishment on stage, and the punishment for Luke Combs' crew was to sing with him on stage, is that truly a punishment? Or like a booby prize or last place performance?
There's two ways. It's a punishment if you have no idea what the song is, and it was a song choosing of Luke Combs. So his friends had no idea what they were getting ready to perform. But if you get to like call your shot, now obviously you want to keep in the lines of country. I mean, for me, if I was best friends with Luke Combs, by the way, Luke Combs, if you're listening, at Graham Hill 98,
Graham Hill's looking for new best friends.
Feel free to shoot me a DM. Friends in low places.
Right? That's a gimme. It's a gimme, yeah, all day.
But that's the one that you can go on, and even if you shotgun a couple of beers with Luke Combs on stage, you're going to know it word for word. Now, I believe the song that they did was Walking in Memphis.
Mark Cohn, yeah, Mark Cohn, Walking in Memphis, which has been covered a million times.
I don't really know that song heart for heart. Obviously, I just know Working in the Pouring Rain. But that's pretty much it. So it'd be punishment for me.
It'd be punishment for you to sing.
It'd be punishment for me to sing Walking in Memphis.
It's a pretty piano-heavy song. It truly is. There's not a lot of, like, monster vocal range. There is at one point where Mark Cohn goes, and I'm a Christian tonight. I'll go walking in Memphis. He does go into that, like, towards the end. Ma'am, I am tonight. Something along those. I can't remember. The song's like 30 years old. But they had to go on stage and sing that song with Luke Combs, in which they didn't have to dress up. They didn't have to dress up like a chicken or a penguin or, like, don like a Julius Caesar get-up or whatever it was. They just went out there and sang with him. Now, one guy was wearing, quote-unquote, beer attire. I don't want to give anyone free advertising, but they were wearing, like, this beer attire on him, which made him kind of look slightly goofy.
I could do it.
And the guy was off-key. Well, see, that's the bit. And see, that's where I get to the idea of an actual punishment for fantasy football. When I think of punishments for fantasy football, first of all, I lost money. So I suck as a virtual GM, right? I'm not a good general manager. But then there's that always added whatever it is. And when I think of punishments, I'm thinking of something
Stay in a Waffle House for 24 hours, stuff like that.
Yeah, standing on a street corner, holding a sign that, is not too offensive or whatever it is. Or, I have to, walk up to random people and buy them coffee or for an hour. Something like that. I could see that being like a true kind of like, yeah, I'm terrible at this game. I don't want to ever be put in this situation again. But if I'm hopping on stage, and this happened in Cincinnati over the weekend, this punishment, by the way, was on Saturday night at Luke Combs' stop in Cincinnati, in which Luke Combs invited a bunch of other people on stage too at this point. But I'm not quite sure that is punishment, as opposed to, yeah, you're going to come on stage and sing a song, but I'm not sure if you're really uncomfortable because you've been hanging out with me for more than a decade. You know what I do. It's not like you're going, hey, I need you to do 2 ceiling fans at Bob's house. I didn't have to go fix a toilet somewhere or empty porta-johns, with proper equipment and hazmat material.
Mitch didn't have to go to Tin Roof Karaoke on Wednesday night and perform a song of my choosing.
Right.
As Mitch is in his living room right now going, what?
Like, you know what this is. You know what you're getting into right away. Your best friend is Luke Combs.
Tony and Gary don't have to go to Jimmy's Beach Bar in Wrightsville Beach and do 5 O'Clock Somewhere by Jimmy Buffett.
That's another banger, by the way.
That is.
See, like Friends in Low Places, right? 5 O'Clock Somewhere, you could totally knock that one out. I don't think anyone would have a problem. All right, Adam Gold Show. Paul Ihander in for Adam today. That's Graham Hill. He's filling in for Victoria. Hopefully you've been enjoying your Monday. We're going to plow forward. 7th inning stretch. Yeah, we got some weird stuff on the way next year on the Adam Gold Show.
Raleigh to Boone, Charlotte to Chapel Hill. Your Carolina is covered. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
At North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance, we believe that getting to know you is the best way to protect what you love most. We have friendly agents in every county to help you prepare for the unexpected. And when life doesn't go as planned, our award-winning claims team will be with you every step of the way. Find a local agent today at ncfbins.com. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance. Helping you is what we do best.
The North Carolina News Network and the North Carolina Healthcare Association invite you to listen to our latest podcast. Hospitals play a key role in emergency readiness alongside first responders who protect us from any scenario. During this month's conversation on the state of healthcare, we take an in-depth look at the role that First Health Moore Regional Hospital played at the U.S. Open in Pinehurst. We'll talk with Moore Regional President Jonathan Davis, who says,
we start our day with an 8:30 safety huddle. We call it looking back, looking forward in our day, to kind of highlight and bring forward any concerns or organizational issues, community issues that may occur.
We also speak with Dr. Catherine Newell with First Health EMS. She reiterates,
we spent about a year beforehand meeting with federal, state, and local representatives to ensure a thorough preparation for the event.
You can listen to our latest conversation wherever you listen to your favorite podcast or by visiting nchealthcare.org.
From the mountains to the coast, there is tremendous pride in North Carolina agriculture. NC Forever Farms is a program recognizing family farms that are protecting precious working lands vital to the future of agriculture. Through permanent agricultural conservation easements, these NC Forever Farms will always be protected from development. Learn more about preserving family farms through the Farmland Preservation Division of the North Carolina Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services by visiting ncadfp.org.
Healthcare.gov is here for you when life happens. If you lost your health coverage because of turning 26, going off Medicaid, leaving your job, or moving, you could be eligible to enroll in new coverage now. And if you need to update your coverage because of marriage or having a baby, you could also be eligible. But don't wait. There's a limited time to enroll. Check your eligibility at healthcare.gov today. Life happens. Get covered. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Are you struggling with your Medicare drug costs? The NC Department of Insurance SHIP program may be able to help. The Extra Help and Medicare Savings programs are available for those who qualify, but you have to apply. Contact SHIP today to see if you qualify. Visit ncshiip.com or call toll-free at 855-408-1212. SHIP provides free, unbiased help in all 100 counties.
Project supported by grants from the Administration for Community Living. Contents do not necessarily represent official views of, nor an endorsement by ACL, HHS, or the U.S. government.
NC Medicaid is for people just like me.
Adults who don't have children.
People who serve.
People who do the heavy lifting.
Child care teachers. Full healthcare coverage at low or no cost.
Doctor's visits, emergency rooms, and prescriptions.
So if you applied before and didn't get it, apply again.
NC Medicaid covers more people than ever before.
NC Medicaid is for more people. See if you qualify at medicaid.nc.gov.
AARP can help you get healthy and stay healthy, whether it's staying active, navigating your benefits, or caring for loved ones. Learn more each week on AARP Without Limits when we meet people who can provide you with a bit of lift or inspiration to live your happiest life at 50 plus. You can find the latest episodes of AARP Without Limits wherever you listen to your podcasts.
To some, a baby's babbling doesn't mean much. But little to no babbling by 12 months or later is just one of the possible signs of autism in children. Learn more at autismspeaks.org. Brought to you by Ad Council.
This is Adam Gold.
Victoria, you played sports in high school, right?
Oh, yeah. Basketball, and I swam.
Could you imagine competing for $1 million?
No.
$1 million.
No. I competed for plastic trophies.
I was also a high school athlete, baseball player. No, and I could never even imagine it.
No.
The Adam Gold Show.
This is one of those top-down kind of moments when you're cruising down the freeway. It's got that disco kind of funk vibe when you think the Bee Gees, Kool and the Gang.
My hair. Don't touch the hair.
Paul Ihander in for Adam Gold today. Appreciate you all hanging out with us on this Monday. All right, I've been up for a long time. I think it's time to stretch.
Just because Victoria's not here today on the Adam Gold Show doesn't mean we still don't have some halftime, seventh inning stretch. That was a throwback right there. That was a throwback. All right, Paul, it's no secret for any of our listeners that join us every morning from 9 to 10 on Next Up right here on 99.9 The Fan that we are big pro wrestling fans. We're not ashamed to admit it.
Ding, ding, ding. 1, 2, 3.
I've been a fan for a very long time, ever since 2009 when my mom By the way, since the big theme during that Julius Peppers Hall of Fame induction ceremony was thanking the people that got you where you are.
Right.
Thank you, Mom, for taking me my first ever professional wrestling show.
There you go.
As the music bed just ran out on me.
It's okay. You're good.
As I'm finding the music bed, I will go ahead and just ask you, or we'll go ahead and let you know, SummerSlam, the biggest party of the summer for WWE, was live in Cleveland this past weekend.
Yes, it was.
There we go. It's been a while since I've done this show. And apparently it did deliver with guest appearances, celebrity appearances from likes of Jelly Roll, who chokeslammed somebody, and then Machine Gun Kelly, Cleveland's very own, walking out to the ring with Logan Paul. So, your thoughts on SummerSlam since I was not able to watch it? Or I still haven't watched it just yet.
So I'm going to spoil then for you.
I mean,
are you sure?
No, with social media nowadays, it's hard.
Okay. Well, Jelly Roll chokeslammed Austin Theory. And then he and Miz and R-Truth, Miz, who is a native of Cleveland, Ohio, formerly, for those of you who do not know professional wrestling, Miz started as he was on The Real World on MTV and said he wanted to be a professional wrestler. He's a professional wrestler. He's had reality television shows. He's been in direct-to-DVD, direct-to-streaming movies. His partner, R-Truth, who also gave the John Cena You Can't See Me elbow drop.
Charlotte, North Carolina native.
Also a rapper back in the day. Hung out with Tupac and some bigger rappers back in the day. And they hung out with Jelly Roll. MGK was there. So, overall, show was a banger. SummerSlam was great. From beginning to end, it felt like they were resetting all their storylines for the second half of the year. We saw the title changes, certainly with Nia Jax taking out Bayley. We saw Liv Morgan retain over Rhea Ripley. We saw Gunther take out Damian Priest, in which Damian Priest was betrayed by his Judgment Day stablemate Finn Balor in that one. And then at the end, it was the new John Cena, the John Cena 2.0 for your kids, not you. You grew up with John Cena. Those of you listening to us, maybe.
Or Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Maybe it was Stone Cold Steve Austin prior to that, but you're still in this kind of relatively modern era of recognizable names in WWE. Now it is Dusty Rhodes' kid, Cody Rhodes, known as the American Nightmare, and he is a title holder, and he knocked out what is known as the tribal chief of the bloodline, Solo Sikoa, or so we thought. The original tribal chief, Roman Reigns, came back, and Roman Reigns assisted in Cody Rhodes' title defense at the end of the pay-per-view. So what I thought of SummerSlam, it was a banger from beginning to end. It never felt like I could get up and take a leak.
I haven't even watched it yet, but just from what I've seen, I can go ahead and tell you that it's a 5-star, 10 out of 10 pay-per-view. The Logan Paul LA Knight match that I just watched highlights of stole the show. I mean, Logan Paul was born to be a professional wrestler. I know you guys are sitting here going, Graham, are you kidding me? You know it's scripted. Well, until you guys start putting the same respect on WWE like you guys do for the Marvel movies and Robert Downey Jr. becoming the new Doomsday, whatever. All right, wrestling is back. They're getting ready to go. Yeah, Hill's hot take. Paul's sitting there like, goodness gracious. Wrestling is back. It's getting ready to go to Netflix. Expect the Attitude Era to come back in 2025, along with, it's going to feel like 2005, along with The Rock, John Cena's farewell tour. It's about to get spicy on Netflix once professional wrestling merges on over.
You were excited about pro wrestling, Graham.
By the way, Where Giants Walk, our good friend Chris Lee, his wrestling documentary on Dorton Arena, coming out tomorrow on PBS.
A little bit of everything for everybody there.
Had to give a shout out to Chris Lee. All right. Now on to some stuff. That was really loud. Now on to some stuff that people might care about or might not even care about even more. You mentioned Luke Combs bringing out his friends from high school fantasy football league on stage. You also brought out the cast of Twisters. Maybe this is just the fraternity of country music, but it seems like these artists are bringing out big-name celebrities. I don't know if you saw this, but Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes joined Morgan Wallen on stage for his concert in Kansas City. Wallen was wearing a special number 7 jersey with his name on the back, which many perceived as a nod to the controversial Chiefs kicker Harrison Butker. I'll leave that up to the listener to decide. But this has become a recurring theme for Wallen his current tour, walking out with pro sports figures that are well known to the cities he's performing in, such as Pat McAfee and Tyrese Halliburton in Indiana, most recently Troy Aikman in Dallas. So, my question for you, Paul, I figured this would be fun. With Morgan Wallen's tour coming through Bank of America Stadium in Charlotte in October, who would be a good pro sports figure to walk out with Morgan Wallen on stage for his big grand entrance. And don't say David Tepper.
In Charlotte?
Even though he'd be the first one to want to do it.
Larry Johnson available?
Larry Johnson? You know who I thought about off the board but would be hilarious? Cam Newton. Cam Newton walking out on stage with Morgan Wallen would be one of the craziest things I've seen in 2024.
Yeah, but you know what would fit the brand better? Biff Poggi. Charlotte head coach. Dude's already wearing cutoff sleeves, already kind of lives that life anyway. I think he'd be perfect. Come on out, Morgan Wallen. Just bring all the Charlottes out.
Or, since he has a reputation of performing with kind of, rock star country music artists, I probably just offended some Nickelback fans there, Jordan Martinook.
Jordan Martinook's everywhere. He doesn't have to have all the fun.
Yeah, but I mean, if he's the only one putting his name in the hat, he might as well be.
Yeah, they just wrote Dabo up from Clemson.
Dabo Swinney?
He'd do that. Why not? Why not?
Now, that would be a sight to see. All right, I've probably lost a lot of listeners' interest by talking professional wrestling and Morgan Wallen. Now it's time for me to lose you some money.
Place your bets. Place your bets. Here we are. I bet you slice into the woods $100.
Paul is just thinking that is a crazy, crazy segue.
That was you know what? That went a million ways. There's no doubt about it. I'm stepping on Rodney Dangerfield. I'm just going to step on him. It's okay. I mean, he's a legend. I get it. Met Rodney Dangerfield once in a casino in Las Vegas back in the day. All right, let's start. How many you got? I have 3.
I have way too many, but sure.
I have 3. I'm going to start with the easy stuff first. Team USA taking on Brazil tomorrow in the men's Olympic semifinal. Brazil is a 26.5-point dog, and I'm taking Brazil. This tips off at 3:30 tomorrow afternoon here Eastern time. Brazil and 26.5. Team USA has yet to cover a spread in the Olympic Games. Team USA.
So you're going Olympics. I'm going a little teacher's pet just because the more I produce for you, the more I realize you're a big baseball fan. Just like when Adam's in, I try to bet on soccer. I would really not take my betting advice on that.
Okay.
But you're a big LA Dodgers fan, so give me the LA Dodgers minus 1.5 money line at plus 162. The Phillies have been struggling as of late, and also, again, got to give my credit to where credit's due for Paul, being the Dodgers fan that he is, always telling me about how his team's doing.
There you go. Well, they're struggling right now on offense, but all their pitching is finally coming back. And you mentioned that Dodgers game. Philly and the Los Angeles Dodgers tonight. Aaron Nola going to take the bump for the Phillies. Tyler Glasnow, former Tampa Bay Ray, pitched a few innings in Durham at the Durham Bulls Athletic Park back in the day, too. He's getting the nod for the Dodgers. But I'm not going with the game. I'm going with individual performance. Shohei Ohtani, anytime stolen base, plus 350. Ohtani to steal a base tonight.
There you go. I want to stay with the Philadelphia Phillies and LA Dodgers game just for a little bit longer, only because I want to give some recognition to a local guy, Trey Turner, former Wolfpacker.
There you go, Trey
Record
Turner.
a hit tonight against the Dodgers minus 210, and I know you're probably thinking, great, minus 210. That's kind of a chalk bet. That too. But if you have a 2-leg bet and you're looking for something to push the odds a little bit, this would be just that. He's recorded a hit in his last 9 games against the Dodgers, so Trey Turner to record a hit at minus 210. Take it or leave it.
And this is at Dodger Stadium, too. So Turner's familiar, former Dodger, played there for a hot second, got traded there. That's why I like the Ohtani on the stolen base. I got a parlay for everybody. This one, again, for entertainment purposes only, but I'm taking the favorites, and it's soccer, so it's always a wild card there. Team USA taking on Germany, women's soccer. Team USA has had the German number. It was 4-1 in their earlier match during the Olympic Games. That's at minus 105. I'm going to pair that up with Brazil and Spain, with Spain at minus 185. That should score pretty well, taking those 2 favorites. Although the money line, those aren't very deep money lines. I think they think the Germans have something up their sleeves.
I mean, we just went totally different on our bets, but my last bet, Major League Baseball, Arizona Diamondbacks, Cleveland Guardians, former North Carolina pitcher Zach Gallen on the mound tonight for the Diamondbacks. Over 4.5 strikeouts, minus 110, supporting the Tar Heels in 39 at-bats. He's given up 9 hits against the projected lineup.
Well, I'm Team USA. Team USA all the way. There it is. And what would a Place Your Bet segment be without a soccer bet? Let's just be honest, right? Let's just be honest. Adam Goldshow rolls on.
Going beyond the box scores. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
The The Adam Gold Show.
Does the ACC need their own Paul Feinbaum? Not really. You know what the ACC really needs? They need NC State to beat Tennessee. They need North Carolina to beat Minnesota. They need Clemson to be good against Georgia. Win? I don't know, man. Georgia's a brick wall. But look the part. And Miami beat Florida. That's what the ACC needs. Win some of these games.
The Adam Gold Show, weekdays starting at noon on 99.9 The Fan.
See if you're a winner every night. Watch live lottery drawings on WRAL-TV's 11 o'clock news. That's right, Carolina Pick 3, Carolina Pick 4, and Carolina Cash 5 numbers every night on WRAL-TV's 11 o'clock news. See if you're a winner before you go off to bed. Get your lottery numbers live every night.
North Carolina Education Lottery.
Only on WRAL-TV's 11 o'clock news.
Mortgage rates are down. Yep, they've been dropping big time, so it's a great time to call Loan Pronto. Hey, it's Dennis Cox. Loan Pronto's got APRs in the 5s. So if you got stuck with a high rate last year and want to refinance, this is a great time to call and lower your payment. Or you can use this opportunity to get cash out of your home's equity and pay off those credit cards, personal loans, car loans, and other high-rate debt. Loan Pronto can help you use these lower rates to get the cash you need in a matter of days. You could do a full refi, or you could do an Equity Express line of credit. Homeowners who call Loan Pronto typically cut their monthly payments by $850. Bottom line, your home value is way up, and mortgage rates have come down big time, making this a great time to act. Call today for a free 30-second rate quote. You may be able to skip your next 2 house payments. Call 919-381-1760, 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com, 919-381-1760, Equal Housing Lenders, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
North Carolina FC is a USL Championship soccer team competing right here in the Triangle. NCFC was founded in 2006 but continues to grow year after year, bringing fun and excitement for the whole family. I'm Victoria with 99.9 The Fan and was able to chat with some of the guys from the team, so let's meet one of the players now.
Hey there, everyone. This is Colin Martin.
What makes NCFC so special to you?
What makes NCFC to me special is that there is such a rich history. It's been a part of multiple different leagues at this point and has silverware to speak for itself last year. And yeah, I just want to be a part of something that has been in this community for a long time and try to make my own history with the club.
Do you have any kind of quirks or superstitions that you do maybe before a big game?
At the national anthem, I like to take a moment and close my eyes and think about my family and friends and think about why I'm out there and a little bit about what I want to do during the game.
Thanks, Colin. You can see for yourself these amazingly talented athletes at WakeMed Soccer Park in Cary, as well as check out all of their information and purchase tickets at NorthCarolinaFC.com.
It's Window Nation's anniversary sale. Right now, buy 2 windows and get 2 free. Plus, pay nothing for 24 months and get an extra $250 credit. Hurry, sale ends August 31st, so schedule an in-home estimate at 866-90Nation or at windownation.com.
Now is the perfect time to start on your next success. When you apply to University of Maryland Global Campus by August 29th, you'll pay no application fee. An accredited state university, UMGC offers online and hybrid courses. Plus, you can earn up to 90 credits toward a bachelor's for prior learning and work experience, or transfer up to 12 credits toward a master's. Get your app fee waived through August 29th. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
This hour of buzzer-beating, nail-biting, edge-of-your-seat sports action on 99.9 The Fan is powered by
Ritchie Law Firm Injury Lawyers.
Visit GotBryan.com.
That's GotBryan.com.
WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on radio, web, app, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports leader.
You're listening to The Adam Gold Show.
Just feel very happy right now and definitely going to enjoy a little breather now and enjoy some good family time and all of those things that I love at this point in the year. And yeah, reflect and dare I say, learn from this past year and see where I can be better in the future. I mean, I don't want to too quickly think about the future, but I mean, I know that that's what's helped me get to this point, continuing to reset after these meets and yeah, find ways to set new goals.
When you are considered one of the greatest in your sport, setting goals can be challenging. Finding that internal motivation can be tough. But then you think to yourself, well, what else am I good at? Adam Gold Show. Paul Ihander with you. Thanks for hanging out with us on this Monday. Graham Hill is here, taking the place of Victoria for now.
I mean, I'm just absolutely vibing to this music right now. Shout out to Rusty for incorporating this bed.
It is a good bed. He needs to hit save on this one. I like it. Oh, wait, it ended. Was that just supposed to just die there? It just died.
I mean, I looked over to the left and it just said 5, 4.
Oh, stop. So you're just
3.
counting down. All right. Again, Adam out today, taking some well-deserved time off. For those of you watching us on YouTube, wherever you can find the Adam Gold Show, I'm the one wearing red. Graham Hill is here. He is not wearing red. So that's how you distinguish the two of us. It's pretty much what it is.
I was trying to look at how you would even describe my color shirt.
It's kind of a
khaki.
Carolina khaki. Is that a thing? Is that a thing? I don't know. You live in the eastern part. You grew up in the eastern part of the state. Is that a thing?
We certainly can make it one.
Sure, why not?
Any clothing brand out there, Greg Norman, any clothing brand that wants to, we can make that happen.
Lean in. I mean, seriously, the state has 8 kinds of barbecue. So, I'm like, wherever you happen to be, that's the best barbecue in the state. That's how it is. And those of you listening, streaming us in other places in South Carolina, Virginia, or maybe you're just across the globe just trying to get a taste of the Triangle or whatnot, or a taste of North Carolina, we appreciate that too. Those of you in the path of Hurricane Sally later on this week, Debbie, take care of yourselves, all right? Just for those of you listening, it's just a smidge of you, but take care of yourselves, look after each other. That's how it needs to be. All right, let's break down the wall of sound.
The wall of sound is a function of this studio. There's no doubt about it.
So, as we dig into some of the sights and sounds of your Monday, we have fresh wall of sound action from the Carolina Panthers, who are getting ready for a Thursday trip to New England to take on the Patriots, the first preseason game of the 2024 campaign, the first preseason game for head coach Dave Canales and his new crew. And so Dave Canales talking about who will play in the preseason, especially Bryce Young.
There could be, I keep going back and forth with that because there's some value to just allowing him to play with Austin, and then there's also the flip side of it, which we know, we're counting on those guys, and that's another approach too.
We only have 2 healthy quarterbacks. Well, actually, we have 3 now. The Carolina Panthers this morning, on this Monday morning, signed Jake Luton. You might remember Jake from last year's appearance as the backup quarterback to Andy Dalton when Dalton got that start when Bryce Young had the mystery ankle ailment. Jake Luton, who's been in the league since 2020, will probably hand off the ball a ton, but he is familiar at least with the Panthers. He quarterbacked in Seattle, so he's got the endorsement of Pete Carroll, and I'm sure Brad Idzik and Dave Canales have some familiarity with Jake Luton, formerly of Oregon State University. So he'll probably get some run time on the Thursday in New England. But Dave Canales, the golden retriever of your Carolina Panthers, suggests that injuries mean others can step up.
It's kind of like that next man up mentality, and while I would love for them to be out there having those reps, it's so valuable for all the guys to be able to get those reps so we can really gather information. Even as we go into these preseason games, I would love for X to be out there at some point just to play NFL football, but we have a good group of receivers that are fighting for these spots on our roster. So I love that room, just getting those opportunities, being able to see different guys rotate in there with the ones and all that. So again, for me, I'm always kind of, the next man up, opportunity type of mentality.
So we're going with X now for Xavier Legette. We're going with X. Legette had an MRI, no fractures in his foot, considered day-to-day, not expected to play on Thursday against New England. And again, they're talking about chemistry and player safety, and that's what it is, right? 72 hours away from seeing if expectations truly can meet reality for the Carolina Panthers. It only goes up from here. Certainly for Dave Canales, certainly for the Carolina Panthers, and certainly for high draft pick Jatavian Sanders, who's been getting a lot of love lately because the dude, as he admits, has big hands and can make grabs. And that's what you want from a guy like that, who Dave Canales said just needs to work on a little bit of just fine-tuning some of those routes, some of the emphasis on the game. But he's picking it up quick, and that's a good thing for Dan Morgan because he drafted him pretty high. But he got value with a position that's going to need to have some production, definitely from last year's inability to get production out of that tight end room. But Ja'Tavion Sanders understands that he needs to take a little nod and what he's learned from the veterans.
Showing me what it like feels like to be a pro and off the field, you know what I'm saying? One of the things I needed to do coming into the next level of my game was taking care of my body and being Ian being a guy who's been in the league for this is 8th year I think now. He knows how to take care of his body, so I've been trying to do things that he does, and it's helped a lot actually.
Those veterans guide the rooks, right? And that's how it usually works, and that's a good thing. It's a good thing when you hear a locker room supporting each other, when you can hear that buy-in from this entire team. And now some of the challenges, though, obviously, for Dave Canales is trying to make sure that everyone gets their time with Bryce Young. Leggett hasn't been able to stay on the field, right? Deontay Johnson building that chemistry. We all know that Young can hook up with Adam Thielen. But what about Sanders? Is he able to get on the same page as Bryce Young?
Oh, it's been going good. Since I've been taking reps with the one, me and him starting to get real closer. I think we're building something special here.
Okay. But that's what you expect. I don't want a rookie to go like, yeah, we're breaking down this film and we're having popcorn night and we got the playbooks out and we're having sleepovers and stuff like that. I'm like, the locker room stuff, right? Get in on the ride, sit in the front row on the roller coaster, and get it to where it needs to go and understand your role in this offense, of which Dave Canales totally understands that role that he has to have in this offense. But as we talk about chemistry, right? We just talked about Sanders. We just talked about those new weapons that are in the room. What about the older weapons that are in that room? The question marks about Miles Sanders that come up time and time again about his role within the Carolina Panthers offense. And he talked about the difference between last year and this year when it comes to being him.
Last year, that's all I can say. I ain't gonna lie. I don't want to talk about last year, but last year, left a real bad taste in my mouth, so just trying to, got something to prove,
Something to prove. Miles Sanders, I'm not sure what he has to prove to a lot of people unless he has to prove something to himself, because I think for Miles Sanders, and I've said this before, for Miles Sanders, what I can't get out of my head, and I try to, and you always envision yourself as an adult, and I can shape it for you this way. When you think of yourself as a fully formed adult, for those fully formed adults that are listening out there right now, when you see yourself in this moment and this time, you only see the reflection in the mirror. But think about when you go back, say, to your high school class reunion or your college class reunion, or you get together with a bunch of your friends or whatnot from Boy Scouts or whatever membership that you had, 4-H, whatever it is, and you go back and you suddenly envision yourself as in that moment, as the 20-year-old that you were, as the 12-year-old wearing the Boy Scout badges, and I just got my bear badge, and I'm getting ready, and I want to be an Eagle Scout, and those kinds of things. Those are the moments that you envision yourself in. In my head, I cannot get the picture of Miles Sanders out of my head as a Philadelphia Eagle. I am struggling with that. I'm struggling with putting Miles Sanders into a Carolina Panthers jersey. Not because he didn't sign the contract, not because I haven't seen him in the jersey, but I think it's because we haven't seen the production that was expected when you splash the kind of economics that you splash, the financials that were given to Miles Sanders last year. And then it didn't turn into a lot of things. Now, there's a million factors that could have rolled into that, but I'm having trouble putting Miles Sanders, plopping him out of the Philadelphia Eagles jersey that I saw him motor around in so well in that scheme and the Super Bowl rings and the whatnot that comes with being Miles Sanders. And I'm happy that he is intense. I'm happy that he is unhappy about what happened last season. I want him to erase that vision from my head. I want him to take that picture out of my head, right? As an adult, you see yourself as a kid when you get back together with your buddies. You may ache, you may make some noises that you don't normally make, but you still see yourself, right? You can still see yourself as that 20-year-old, that 25-year-old, that 13-year-old. You can still envision that. That's what you had. Now it's about what you need to be and where you want to be. It's good to hear Miles Sanders talk about where he wants to be and what he knows he's absolutely capable of. All right, we are going to dig a little bit deeper into the Panthers as they get ready to head to New England for the first preseason game of the Canales era. Darin Gant, Panthers reporter at Panthers.com, joins us next on The Adam Gold Show.
Serving it up hot and fresh every day. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Hey, Carolina Panthers fans, it's Dennis Cox from 99.9 The Fan. For all the inside information on your team, join me and my co-host, WRAL TV's Chris Lee, for our podcast, Panthers Playbook, presented by Carolina Ford Dealers. In every episode, we'll keep you up to date on your Panthers, and we'll do it with access only we can provide. Locker room insight, exclusive interviews, and in-depth looks at every Panthers game. Follow and subscribe to Panthers Playbook wherever you discover your favorite podcasts or watch on YouTube.
Hey, John, why so glum?
I just got let go. The company's downsizing. This is the third time in the last 2 years. I'm done with this.
Have you thought about My Computer Career? I've heard they can train you for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI. And you don't need prior training or experience. Now that's a recession-resistant career.
Wow, thanks. I'll check them out.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. mycomputercareer.edu.
Financial aid is available for qualified students, including the GI Bill.
Get the new Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 6 and Z Flip 6, powered by Galaxy AI with Spectrum free anytime upgrade. Use Circle to search with Google to see more and search more on the large Z Fold 6 screen. Or capture perfectly framed pics using FlexCam and Z Flip 6. Order now with Spectrum free anytime upgrade and get up to $1,000 off, plus the value of your trade-in. Visit a Spectrum store or SpectrumMobile.com today. Offer subject to change, valid for qualified residential customers only. Service not available in all areas. Restrictions apply.
Injured in a motorcycle accident? Call 1-800-LAW-TIGERS before you call your insurance company. The insurance company wants to pay you the least amount possible. Law Tigers are riders too, so we understand what your bike and gear are worth and what you're going through after an accident. Your case evaluation is always free, and we don't get paid until your case settles. Call 1-800-LAW-TIGERS, North Carolina's motorcycle lawyers. Law Tigers is a network of independent law firms who are members of the American Association of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Law Tigers is not a law firm.
It's bow time.
A leg and thigh dinner from Bojangles for just $5.99.
Leg and thigh dinner from Bojangles for just $5.99.
So crispy.
So crispy.
And juicy.
And juicy.
So much flavor.
So much.
Stop it. What are you doing?
What, you expect me to get this delicious deal and not say anything?
You're unbelievable.
You're unbelievable.
With a boldly seasoned leg and thigh, choice of fixin', a biscuit, and legendary iced tea, it's a deal so good it's worth repeating. So eat and repeat while it lasts. It's bow time.
It's bow time. Dine in, drive through, or tap your favorite delivery app and have Bojangles come to you. Satisfy your craving for flavor right now with Bojangles 2-piece dinner. 2 pieces of Bojangles dark meat chicken, your choice of fixin', a biscuit, and iced tea for just $5.99. That's right, just $5.99 for limited time at participating Bojangles. What are you waiting for? When you're hungry, it's always bow time.
You know that feeling? That confident, swaggerific feeling that says, look at me, world, I know stuff. Own that feeling with PlaySmart, a fun new go-to resource from the North Carolina Education Lottery. With PlaySmart, get to know the odds, learn tips, set limits and budgets, and make the most of your play. Awesome feeling, right? Right. Play smart, the way smart players play. Visit ncplaysmart.com. Must be 18 to play. Problem Gambling Helpline 877-718-5543.
At Lowe's, save big every day. Right now, get a free pneumatic nailer when you buy a pallet of Metabo HPT nails. And there's more. Save 10% on select shingles when you buy in bulk. Visit us in-store or online for low prices on the materials you need. Because Lowe's knows savings. Lowe's knows pros. Selection varies by location. While supplies last, discount taken at time of purchase. See sales associate for details.
This is Adam Gold.
Thank you very much for your time, man. We will talk again.
Adam, anytime for you, my friend.
Thank you. I don't know why it makes me laugh. Why does that make me laugh?
I don't know. Maybe you just are used to people being mean to you or something, like Twitter. I don't know.
The Adam Gold Show.
Adam Gold Show on this Monday. Paul Ihander in for Adam today. Graham Hill here taking Victoria's slot. It's great to have all of you aboard with us. Continuing our chat about the Carolina Panthers. Joining us From Panthers.com is the illustrious writer himself, Darin Gant. And Darin, you were able to see firsthand, be the witness to greatness that is Julius Peppers in terms of legacy and having that moment for him. In terms of North Carolina, you place him right at the top, right, when it comes to figureheads of this state.
Oh, yeah, no question. I mean, he's up there, Jordan, Phil Ford, Charlie Justice. I mean, it's Mia Hamm. I guess we can count her since she went to UNC. It's about as good as it gets. And, to see Jordan backstage, hugging up on Pep during the enshrinement ceremony, it's like a full circle moment because he just we did our best to say everything you could say about Julius Peppers in the couple weeks leading up to enshrinement. You can check out all our coverage at Panthers.com/Road to Canton. I don't know if that's the exact address, but you can find it. But, as much as you can say about Julius Peppers, and we did our best, he was just different. I mean, that's the only way to put it. So guys who are 6'7", 290, 295 pounds aren't supposed to be able to run 4.7 40s. Guys who get 159.5 sacks aren't also supposed to intercept 11 passes in their career, Defensive linemen who coming at the end of long drives are usually tired aren't supposed to block 13 kicks over the course of their career. I mean, all pro defensive ends not supposed to be able to also be a power forward on a Final Four basketball team in college. And that's just been his career. He is a mythical figure, make no mistake about it. And it's been kind of cool seeing him kind of come to grips with that. Julius, as you guys know, anybody who's seen him over the years know that he's a private guy, not a big talker. But I think when you saw his speech on Saturday, that was kind of the essence of Julius that was always in there and that he's only now coming to grips with sharing with people. So it was absolutely cool to see, to be standing in the room when he put his own bust on the wall, was moving. It was a special moment for him, special moment for all the fans throughout the Carolinas.
Yeah, nice moment for Julius Peppers. Darin Gant joining us, Panthers.com. So, Darin, let's switch gears here to the game on Thursday in which...
Do we have to?
No, we do.
Do we have to?
We do.
And by the way, I really enjoyed joining you guys this afternoon. Even without Adam and Victoria, it's kind of like the preseason. You got to work on depth in August. You got to make sure you got sufficient depth to get you through a season. So that's why I enjoy talking to you.
Yeah, I throw a pretty good deep ball. Just my footwork needs a little bit mechanically sound. So let's talk about that footwork for a little bit. Bryce Young may or may not get some snaps in that preseason game on Thursday, but we're a little thinner at quarterback than I think Dave would want to be. So they bring in Jake Luton who played for the team last season, not under this current regime. Did you know that he had a Cameo account that you could get a $49 personal message from?
Jake Luton? That's outstanding. I may have to tap into that. Is there an employee discount at work here? Can I? Yeah, I don't know. But so $49 for a Jake Luton cameo. We'll have to definitely look into that. But no, I think this preseason, I mean, the trend throughout the league really has been getting away from putting starters out there for too much. You go from 4 preseason games to 3, and one of these days we'll probably go to 2 once they're playing 18 regular season games. So I just think league-wide, most coaches would prefer not to put their quarterbacks out there at all. A lot of starting quarterbacks will not take a single snap in the preseason. And frankly, if that's what it turns into with Bryce, it won't necessarily surprise me. On the other hand, Dave Canales kind of acknowledged. He said, listen, he's got to get used to working with Austin Corbett at center. He's got to get used to running a brand-new offense. And in case anybody's forgotten, the last 2 times Bryce Young played in a football game against other people, he didn't score a point. So I think there's something to be said for both halves of this equation, but it wouldn't surprise me in the least if the Carolina Panthers just decide to keep him tucked away on the sidelines and watch an awful lot of Jack Plummer and Jake Luton in the preseason, whether you pay $49 for it or not.
Darin Gant, Panthers.com, Ask the Old Guy, part of the Panthers.com mailbag. I've always wanted to say that. I've always heard Adam say it. Now I finally get the chance to. And Darin, I don't know if it's so much preseason.
Unlike Adam, you're not older than me, though. That's the only problem.
Fair enough. I don't know, and also I don't know if it's preseason. I think we're just fitting the theme of Olympics. Maybe not the Adam Gold show, but maybe it's the bronze or silver show. I don't know. I'll leave that up to the listeners to decide.
I see what you did there. Very nice. That's what I'm talking about.
I've worked in radio a little bit now.
We're getting good reps here.
Exactly. Well, now let's see if I don't mess it up. I did want to ask you, there was a lot of bucket hats and ball caps on the practice field today after a handful of veterans got maintenance days today after a jam-packed practice on Sunday. I just wanted to go over with you, are there any Band-Aids or boo-boos that we need to be concerned about for the Carolina Panthers heading into preseason game number 1?
Well, I think obviously there's some injury stuff. The guys who are still in PUP or NFI list aren't going to be playing on Thursday night. Canales basically said Xavier Leggett's not going to play on Thursday. He kind of tweaked a foot a little bit, but all the tests came back negative. No big structural anything with him. But, again, anybody who's even close to being questionable physically ain't going to play Thursday night. So, if you want to, there's still reasons to watch. It's still football, and I know everybody's been jonesing for that all summer, despite the fact that there's plenty of stuff to watch, including the Olympics. I think you get a chance to look at depth. You get a chance to look at some competition for some down-the-line guys. They've got decisions to make at wide receiver, and that's a pretty deep room. When you think about, the first 3 spots without Liggett in the mix are going to be Deontay Johnson, Adam Thielen, Jonathan Mingo, who's had a pretty good spring and summer. Beyond that, there are 4 or 5 guys who are out there making legitimate cases for themselves every day in practice for roster spots, and you ain't going to be able to keep them all. So I think stuff like that's obviously what you tune in for in August while everybody really goes into a maintenance mode. Think about it. After this game with the Patriots is over for the Panthers on Thursday night, they've got a week until, they'll play the Jets in their second preseason game, but there's a joint practice between now and then. So, coaches would much rather put their quarterbacks in a situation like that for game-like snaps, but in a controlled situation where everybody knows quarterbacks aren't getting hit.
Darin Gant, Panthers.com, joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. Paul Ihander filling in for Adam today. So take us into camp. Beyond all the back-and-forth position battles that are happening, can you pinpoint the difference between this year's preseason fall camp and last year's camp?
Well, again, a year ago this time, we thought this all made sense. We didn't know how it was going to unfold at the time, and Frank Reich and an all-star cast of offensive coaches seemed like a great idea. Turned out not to be the case. The difference is I think there is a different energy, obviously. Some of that comes from guys wanting to prove that they aren't 2-15 football players, and some of it is just Canales. And one of the things that's interesting to me about Dave is he's young, he's good-looking, he's bouncing around in his tight shirt and all that kind of stuff. And it's easy to think, okay, this is an act. This is just a young guy trying to act young. Dave's got a very deliberate sense of practice. And, it's interesting to me that he never puts on a raincoat when it rains. He's always out there wearing the same version of shorts and a long-sleeve dry fit every day. The colors change, but the outfit's the same. And he said something early in practice. He said, I want our guys to work the same way despite any distractions. So if it's raining, I don't want to act different when it rains. If it's hot, I don't want to act different when it's hot. So I think it's an interesting message, and he's been very intentional about keeping the focus on the work. Already, it's not like Dave, he's smooth and he's good at selling a vision to these guys, but it doesn't feel like you're being sold things. So when Dave Canales says, and we've heard it a million times, we got to get the ball right, he's putting an emphasis on the work. He's putting an emphasis on precision in practice. He's putting an emphasis on being really focused about improving technically rather than just clapping his hands and jumping up and down and yelling and hoping that's going to inspire everybody to a different performance.
Panthers.com, Darin Gant joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. Speaking of Canales and Coach Dave, and it's the one thing that I had a little bit of trouble yesterday when he spoke to the media on Sunday, and you talk about precision and getting the ball right and whatnot. He talked about maintaining intensity from the first quarter right on through the fourth quarter on Thursday. Like, that was the expectation, that they were going to, just maintain this entire energy. And I struggle with that because of how many interchangeable parts come in the preseason, where it's literally an audition every moment, every minute, to where I'm not sure that one guy's going to be able to play with another guy because they've only spent maybe 2 or 3 or 4 reps with each other the entire preseason.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think that's the reality of it. And that's why you got to be careful when you're evaluating preseason snaps, because these are unusual combinations of people. These are, and they're kind of looking at these guys on an individual basis. I mean, when you get into a regular season, you'll judge an offensive line based on, okay, these are the 5 guys you expect to be in that situation, how they play. These are guys, a lot of these people, who might even be lining up with twos may not necessarily be on the roster in 4 weeks. So I think it's an individual evaluation, and they're just trying to go through and make them as well as they can, knowing the situation's up in the air. And I think that's why Dave talks about that so much, because he wants to keep guys locked in on what they're doing. Everybody do their part, all those cool coach things to say. But it comes across as a genuine thing, and players are responding to it that way, and I think that's credit to Dave.
Darin Gant, Panthers reporter, Panthers.com. Read everything you need there from him. He's at every practice, and we appreciate that work, because without that, we don't know what the hell we're talking about, Darin.
There's a lot of that going around, though. That doesn't keep a lot of people from talking.
Well, we at least try to stick to the facts most of the time.
I love it. I appreciate it.
All right, thanks. Darin Gant, Panthers reporter, Panthers.com. All right, coming up next here on the Adam Gold Show, the individual Olympic dream apparently being forced to change. That's coming up next.
Raleigh to Boone, Charlotte to Chapel Hill. Your Carolina is covered. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Adam Gold here for my friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sports book, and they are the best place to bet the games this summer, because right now, new customers can get $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. Then you can bet on all your favorite international teams in all your favorite sports. From basketball to badminton and soccer to swimming, FanDuel has it all. Don't miss your chance to score $150 in bonus bets if your first bet wins. Just visit FanDuel.com/AGS to sign up and start betting the games today. Make every moment more with FanDuel. 21 or over and present in North Carolina. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonuses issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See full terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
When the power goes out, your life is disrupted. Heat, air conditioning, refrigeration, phones, all gone. Be prepared for the next outage with a Generac home standby generator. After sensing a power outage, a Generac generator automatically restores your home's power. Whether you're home or away, power your life with a Generac home standby generator. Act now for a free 10-year warranty on a Generac home standby generator. Terms and conditions apply. See more at alternativepower.com. Alternative Power, North Carolina's Generac experts.
The North Carolina News Network and the North Carolina Healthcare Association invite you to listen to our latest podcast. Hospitals play a key role in emergency readiness alongside first responders who protect us from any scenario. During this month's conversation on the state of healthcare, we take an in-depth look at the role that First Health Moore Regional Hospital played at the U.S. Open in Pinehurst. We'll talk with Moore Regional President Jonathan Davis, who says,
we start our day with an 8:30 safety huddle. We call it looking back, looking forward in our day, to kind of highlight and bring forward any concerns or organizational issues, community issues that may occur.
We also speak with Dr. Catherine Newell with First Health EMS. She reiterates,
we spent about a year beforehand meeting with federal, state, and local representatives to ensure a thorough preparation for the event.
You can listen to our latest conversation wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts or by visiting nchealthcare.org.
From the mountains to the coast, there is tremendous pride in North Carolina agriculture. NC Forever Farms is a program recognizing family farms that are protecting precious working lands vital to the future of agriculture. Through permanent agricultural conservation easements, these NC Forever Farms will always be protected from development. Learn more about preserving family farms through the Farmland Preservation Division of the North Carolina Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services by visiting ncadfp.org.
Healthcare.gov is here for you when life happens. If you lost your health coverage because of turning 26, going off Medicaid, leaving your job, or moving, you could be eligible to enroll in new coverage now. And if you need to update your coverage because of marriage or having a baby, you could also be eligible. But don't wait. There's a limited time to enroll. Check your eligibility at healthcare.gov today. Life happens. Get covered. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Are you struggling with your Medicare drug costs? The NC Department of Insurance SHIP program may be able to help. The Extra Help and Medicare Savings programs are available for those who qualify, but you have to apply. Contact SHIP today to see if you qualify. Visit ncshiip.com or call toll-free at 855-408-1212. SHIP provides free, unbiased help in all 100 counties.
Project supported by grants from the Administration for Community Living. Contents do not necessarily represent official views of, nor an endorsement by ACL, HHS, or the U.S. government.
This is Adam Gold.
Frankly, I'm not sure that there is a sport that we could theoretically even put in the Olympics that isn't. I said bowling. Yeah, maybe.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Croquet? Lawn darts?
I'm waiting for cornhole.
Oh, there's somebody that thinks, yeah.
The Adam Gold Show.
Adam Gold Show on this Monday. Paul Ihander in for Adam today. Thanks for coming along for the ride. Victoria also out today, off seeing her beloved Chicago Cubs, so Graham Hill is in the chair on the ones and twos. A couple of things to pass along to you. We're going to talk some Olympics here and the reasoning behind, or at least we're seeing the individual Olympic dreams being put aside. Daniel Jones, you might know that name, former Duke University quarterback, now playing for the New York Giants. Apparently, the NFL's joint practices aren't as, this happens every year, so they are not peaceful by any means. Daniel Jones apparently in the middle of one of 3 fights at the joint practices between the New York Giants and Detroit Lions, in which one of them happened after apparently Brian Daboll, head coach of the Giants, complained that Jones got hit, even though he's wearing a non-contact jersey. Former Carolina Panther Brian Burns apparently settled some of the tension. So a few nuggets there. Also, the coaches poll is out for college football officially. Number 1 team picked by the 69 coaches who vote. So roughly half of the eligible bowl teams, those coaches get to vote for these polls. Georgia is the overwhelming number 1, followed by Ohio State and Oregon. Of the ACC or AAC schools, it's mostly ACC schools that are involved. Florida State at number 10 is the highest-ranked ACC school. Clemson at 14. Miami, Florida at number 19, not to be confused with Miami of Ohio. And NC State at number 22. So clearly the expectations are fairly high of the others receiving votes, and there are always others. Those include plenty of ACC schools. That includes the newest ACC school, SMU, and Carolina also has a vote. By the way, you App State folks, App State got a couple of others receiving votes as well. So something to hang your hat on there as we talk about moving forward. Liberty also receiving votes as well. There's something happening at the Olympic Games which has become a little bit tough for me to swallow. Well, I'll explain this for a second here. I don't sleep well. I'm not a person that sleeps very well. I put my kids to bed at night, and then I just wake up at unusual hours. Sometimes 3 o'clock because my body just says, hey, Paul, it's time to get up. Other times 4:30, other times my alarm. But mostly I get up well before my alarms, well before it is time to feed the chickens or hit the fields or whatever it is that you do to keep this big blue ball moving. So hats off to you out there. I know what it's like to bale hay. I know what it's like to be a farmer. Those you get up really early in the morning. Also grew up in a military family, so I know what it's like to be a part of that as well. Did not serve my father, and I have plenty of uncles. Anyway, I get up early. At the Olympic Games this year, when it comes to track events, they have made a change. When it comes to running races, so I'm talking about the specific running races, 1,500 meters, those of you who are familiar, if you have track and field kids or you ran track back in the day or you were a former athlete that did it at a really high level. They have changed the way they do it this year at the Olympics. In past years, when you ran heats to qualify, the 200 meters or the 1,500 meters or whatever it was, you qualified for the next round based on time. So you could get in if you beat the time. Whether it was one who met the time or whether it was 5 in that specific heat, you all got to advance. Well, they've changed it up. The idea is now that you run in a number of heats. And this morning they were running 400 meters on the men's and women's side. When those heats were over, those who did not qualify of the top 3 were sent to what is known as the repechage rounds. The repechage is essentially second chance. It's a second chance round for you to qualify, but only the top 1 moves through. You win and you're in. You lose and you're done. But you get to live out the individual Olympic dream, right? The reason why you woke up early like Paul to go run up and down a set of bleachers, the reason why you went out to the flat field and you had the strap around your waist and you had the tire behind you, while you ran the jingle jangles and you ran the quick, one and done, or those of you who are familiar with, running, sprint for a minute, walk for 10 seconds, sprint for a minute, walk for 20 seconds, sprint for 2 minutes. Again, interval training is what I'm getting at. That's what you did as part of the individual Olympic dream. Because what was the goal as a kid? As an athlete who realized, or someone realized you had the potential to be at the Olympic Games, to qualify and perform in world championships, that individual Olympic dream. But the repechage has changed things a little bit when it comes to the individual Olympic dream if you don't qualify in the top 3. You get sent to the repechage, and it depends on what country you are competing for. Not all countries are created equal when it comes to sport. I've said in the past, and I said during the show earlier, if you missed it, that the countries are catching up, that the quality of the technology, whether it's shoes, whether it's speed suits, whether it's just the tank top that you wear, the technology is improving, and it's creating some equal ground. But still, some countries are not equal than others. So I understand when someone from a country who maybe only has 1 athlete or 2 athletes stays in the repechage. But what I saw this morning during a number of heats, and it kept repeating itself, which made me think to myself, I'm like, what exactly is happening? There were a number of athletes who absolutely did not go to the track. That instead of having 7 in the heat to qualify, to get themselves back into the opportunity to compete for a medal, there were only 5. Or in a field of 8, there were only 6, where they were opting out of competing for that opportunity to have an individual Olympic medal, which I'm conflicted about. I was sad about seeing that, because if it were an individual choice, and again, it was an individual choice for you to get out of bed this morning. There wasn't a team of people saying, get up, get up, get up, unless you were like a 12-year-old teenager. And I'm being stereotypical for a reason, because it's just to emphasize the point. You get up as an individual because your goal every morning, when somebody saw something in you or you saw it within yourself and you fought hard to chase that individual Olympic dream. And then when you get there, you don't do so well the first time. But in the second chance, the second time you get it, someone tells you you shouldn't. And someone tells you you can't. Because we think you're more valuable if you don't run that 400 meters, if you don't run that extra 800 meters, because we think you could be on a relay team. And I think there's something wrong with that. I think as an individual, you should have the choice. And maybe it is. Maybe it is that individual's choice from South Africa, or that individual's choice from Japan, and I saw it multiple times this morning from multiple countries, that if it were their individual choice to not chase after that gold, bronze, silver medal, or at least a spot in that finals, in which you could say, I was in the finals of an event at the Olympic Games, that someone else told them that no, we need you on the relay, so we don't want you to run and you shouldn't run. And I hope that if that was like the order or the ask, that there was also a question that was asked immediately after that request. Why? Why can I not do the thing that I've been spent my whole life for? That I've been eating egg shakes and waking up early and running in the rain and running in the dark and running with coaches and listening to all these pokes and prods and whatnot, that I was denied an opportunity, denied my shot at having my moment. The Olympic Games, I get it. Global games, have the team thing, run as part of a relay, be part of a team. But the Olympic Games still, while you are competing under a flag, under a nation's flag, are still about individual performances, individual events. The majority of those events are individual events. It is not all team. And I go back to where Team USA, the women's gymnastics team, competed today for the final time in individual events. Team USA, they won their all-around golds. All-around golds. And then it came down to individual events. 2 over the weekend and 2 happened today, in which every member of that team got to compete in an individual event. So what I'm saying is the Olympics have it backwards. They didn't do it right. They should have had the team events first. Now, I get it. It's different. Injuries happen. Things happen. Simone Biles fought through a calf injury to get an all-around gold and to get individual events. She got a silver today. But Team USA women, they had everyone win a medal on an individual basis right up until today. Jordan Chiles was the last competitor to win an individual medal for Team USA, but at least she was given the opportunity to do it. No one said, no, you can't do it because we need your points for a team medal. She was given the opportunity. There wasn't a second chance that had to happen. She didn't have to go, well, I don't know if I should do this because it's better than if I compete in the team event. I don't know if there's a right or wrong answer to it. I just think it's wrong that you have to take someone's opportunity away before they even get a chance. Well, you didn't do it the first time, so I guess you're not going to do it the second time. Like, history doesn't always repeat itself. The lessons that were learned in the race that was run 2 hours before aren't necessarily the results that will come 2 hours after. You will be more tired. Yes, you will have another 400 meters on your legs or another 800 meters on your, or whatever it happens to be. But I'm hoping that in this idea of having the second chance, that the athletes actually get the second chance. And for those competitors who didn't get it, I hope they are satisfied with their Olympic experience. I hope that they get everything that they wanted out of it, that they got the Olympic Village, they got the magic moments, they got the pin trading that we hear about, they got the excitement of walking in with the team and walking out with the team when the closing ceremonies happen at the end of the week. I hope they get that experience out of it, and they're not kind of bitter that I am looking on the outside looking in on them. But I truly hope that the second chance opportunities were given up voluntarily and not taken away from them, because I think that ruins the spirit of the sport. That ruins the whole idea of actual competition, in which you aren't just bailing and giving up on yourselves because someone says, well, we're not sure you're going to win, we're not sure you're going to qualify or whatnot. I don't think it should matter. I think everyone should have their time to shine. You made that moment happen. Others helped you get there. You honor them in that way. And when national team committees get together and coaches who have play politics, and we already saw it with Team USA women's basketball. Don't get it wrong, folks. Don't color it weird. It's what happened when Caitlin Clark didn't make that team, because they're all thinking to themselves, well, it could have been better. Too late. But when larger voices get into the room, it kind of ruins it for everybody else. It ruins the simplicity of what is happening. I am going from one point to another point in a fixed amount of time, and I'm going to give my best effort possible. So please, 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 not let it come out afterwards that these athletes were asked to give up their spot because we think they could have been used better in another position. That's just rough for me to hear. I hope that's not the case. All right, Adam Gold Show here in for Adam, Paul Ihander. Thanks for hanging out with us today. I suppose it is time to rewind. All right, so earlier during the program, we had a nice chat with Patrick Johnson. Patrick Johnson, a 94.3 The Game in Greenville, one of the fine affiliates of the Adam Gold Show radio network. And we talked about a loss in the North Carolina sports community. It was a tragic loss and a sudden loss, unfortunately, of Ramey Steins. Ramey Steins was an ACC basketball official, well-liked by coaches, clearly by the outpouring of love late last night and today. Steins was definitely beloved within that community, but also within the Little League community, not just in Greenville, but nationwide as well. And we talked to Patrick about Steins' death and what he meant to North Carolina. Patrick, thanks for hanging out with us today here on the Adam Gold Show. I know we are going to talk about ECU football, but I think we need to talk about a big loss that just occurred within the Greenville community. Certainly, it was an ACC official, lots of tributes coming out last night. The certainly untimely death. I don't think there's a better way to put it, but certainly a tragic and a big loss to just the sports community in general when it comes to North Carolina and certainly Greenville, as Ramey Steins passed away yesterday. Is there a story that you can say about Ramey that really kind of encompasses the man that he was?
Well, I think the big thing, Paul, and it's great to talk to you again and be with Graham again. I think the big thing is Ramey was flying back from coaching the Little League All-Star team for the right to go to the Little League World Series in Williamsport. They were down in Warner Robins, Georgia, and Ramey didn't have a child or a grandchild on the team. Ramey was giving of his time. Of course, he played minor league baseball, had over 50 homers, played baseball at East Carolina on some of Gary Overton's NCAA teams back when they had the 8-team regionals and the big boy regionals, as some in baseball like to call them. And just a heck of a guy in the community, obviously a well-respected basketball official. He coached softball in the Greenville community and Winterville community, baseball. His son, of course, is a basketball official. One of the games I did last year in college hoops, his son was a replacement referee on and did a heck of a job. It was a great communicator, probably was the best official on the floor that night. So that, I'm sure, made Ramey proud. His in-laws are from New Bern. I just got something from their church sent to me via my colleague in basketball, Cy Seymour, who lives in New Bern. Ramey was just a guy you wouldn't think that he would have a sudden event, the magnitude, from what we understand, he had, because he did 100 college basketball games a year. He was fit. He you know, his age, he didn't even look his age. I wish I could look half as good at my age as Ramey looked. And a big loss. One of my really good friends in Greenville was his neighbor, and he said, Ramey taught my son how to play ball. You know, baseball. That's pretty good stuff. Had a couple daughters too. One played softball at UNCW, and one was taking and does continue to take. It was the plan this year to take photos, be the official photographer for the softball Little League World Series that's being played in Greenville this week. So a lot of ties to the community, and as you noted, across the ACC and across college basketball, Ramey Steins, that name was one that he was a genuine guy, a competitor, but he, you know, I think he had a great relationship with all of the basketball coaches that he officiated their games, and he understood, you know, being an athlete, how competitive those environments are, and I don't think he took any time a coach would get on him in any way personally, but he also wouldn't take any plays off. That was something when he coached. Even Little League sports, Paul. He would get on an umpire if he felt they were taking a play off. He always had a high standard. So a heck of a guy. It's a sad community in Greenville today. That's been a unfortunate and sad story. Kind of like you guys, I filled in this morning on our Talk Properties morning show, and we had someone on to talk about Ramey. It's just fascinating to me, all the different parts of the community. They all kind of knew him for something different. So I think that's, if you can be that well-rounded in life, what a life you've lived.
Patrick Johnson joining us, host of the Patrick Johnson Show, 94.3 The Game in Greenville. And just to piggyback on this just a little bit here, Patrick, he was a Little League coach, and I've been a Little League coach for years. And
yeah.
The amount of touch points that you have within your community, and certainly, and you spoke well to that he taught boys and girls this game and the love of the game. That truly will be one of, I can only admit that it'll be one of his lasting legacies within the Greenville community.
Yeah, absolutely. Was a 3-sport athlete in Plymouth, which is about an hour or so northeast of Greenville. On your way to the Outer Banks, for many, they'll pass through Plymouth, and that's the big thing. Just someone that was really invested in the community's youth. I mean, could have coached older kids in baseball, but felt like he wanted to coach those young guys that are in Little League. And here's the thing that just breaks your heart, Paul. His grandson was going to start Little League next year, so he would have had an opportunity to be involved in that.
Yeah.
With his grandson involved. But certainly our condolences and prayers go out to his family and his many, many friends in the college sports business.
Thanks to Patrick Johnson for hanging out with us this afternoon. Again, the passing of Ramey Stein's longtime ACC official. Lots of tributes to him throughout social media in the last 24 hours, and from all the ACC schools, certainly, and from a lot of the coaches that he worked alongside. Certainly a large loss to the North Carolina sports community, and certainly to his family and his friends in the Greenville area. You're being thought of today, certainly, from us here. Adam Gold Show, Paul Ihander here. Victoria is off today. Graham Hill here on the ones and the twos. Want to lighten the mood just a bit before we take off. Something that I've kept in my back pocket all day that I haven't been able to put out there. This is just in time for tailgate season, okay?
Nice.
Just in time for tailgate season. There was a study done, and if I could get a grant to do this study, I would have. So published over the weekend in something called Food Quality and Preference, which is scientific journals or whatnot. There was a research team from Penn State University that noticed that participants in a study of snacking habits suggested, this feels like something that should have been in seventh inning stretch, but I'm laying it on you now.
Okay.
Participants in this study say 46 volunteers ate roughly the same amount of chips, irrespective of whether dips were present. So what they're saying is that if you're planning to go to a tailgate and you're like, man, I just ate too much, or I don't feel so good, and I want to blow it up, you will eat just as many chips if someone brings 7-layer dip or doesn't bring 7-layer dip.
Man, am I craving some buffalo dip now.
And they're just, it feels obvious, right? It feels obvious. They're just saying, hey, if you're going to trying to lose a couple lbs or kilos or whatever it is, don't eat dip, because you're going to eat the same amount of chips if they're there or not.
Yeah.
Which is great, because I'm one of those guys that goes to a tailgate and sometimes forget stuff. And like, hey, dude, you were supposed to bring the dip. Oh, sorry. I forgot the onion ranch or sour cream and onion, whatever it is. You take the mix and you put it in the sour cream, the onion mix. Like, so it won't really matter at all. You're just eating more calories. But you'll just eat just as many chips if you just brought a bag of chips, like bag of tortilla chips or barbecue chips or whatever it is. You don't even need the dip. Now, I know there are people that specialize in dip. Like, that's their thing. Totally their thing. But what it is, instead of having the dip, people just chew through the same amount of chips. It didn't even matter if they had that many chips or not. They would just eat the chips.
So you're telling me I can show up to whatever tailgate that I plan on attending this year. By the way, Graham Hill Crasher Tailgate is coming this fall, folks.
Yeah, whether you want it or not.
Whether you want it or not, Graham Hill is going to crash your tailgate at whatever football game I'm going to this Saturday, and I'm going to bring you a bag of Cape Cod jalapeno chips.
Those are delicious.
And we're going to eat all of it in one setting. Now, the person sitting beside me in the press box is probably not going to like that. But for us fans listening right now to the Adam Gold Show, that's how we're bond over some college football tailgating.
This study of chips and dip intake, partly funded by the Department of Agriculture. So this was a government-funded government study about chips and dip. So here's the deal. And here's the name of the study. Serving a dip with a salty snack promotes energy intake. So what I'm saying is right now, if someone wants to partner with me at State or ECU or App or whatever it is you're listening to right now, and you want to say, let's do like a brat intake, and whether or not you would eat more brats with condiments or not, I'm all for that one.
Paul,
because there's some money to be made.
I think we have lightning in a bottle right here.
There's money to be made.
I think we can make this happen.
I'm like, do you think there's one for beer and barbecue too? We interviewed 46 people and put chips and dip in front of them. I'm like, who would not want to be part of that study? We're going to pay you $100.
This is how Graham Hill crashes your tailgate.
To eat chips and dip. Oh, goodness gracious. All right. Thanks to all of you for hanging out with us today. Appreciate the love. Appreciate you just hanging in there. Hopefully you learned a little something today, and we helped you move your sports day forward. That was Graham Hill. Paul Ihander in for Adam Gold. Tim Donnelly in for Adam tomorrow. Enjoy the sports day, everybody, and keep it on the shiny part.
Serving it up hot and fresh every day. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
The world's best